Anybody here? That was a nightmare, that. Hello? Yay! Yeah, so what happened there was... Hey, Alex. Hey, Daniel. That's what happened. I hate you, kitty cats. I do. I hate you. Basically, what I did was I pulled the Telecaster off the wall and pulled the camera out of the computer. That wouldn't come back. So if I knew how to keep the last stream going and update, it would have been fine. I'll play the guitar for 5 minutes until everyone comes back in again. But yeah. Man. Technical difficulties. And it's like, the technical difficulties when you're drinking are just impossible. Hey, Kenneth. Yes. What happened was I pulled the camera out the computer because the Telecaster was attached to it. Maybe I'm going to start hating Telecasters now. I was actually playing that. In fact, I'm going to play the bass. I'll play the bass until there's 10 people. It's probably going to be, hopefully only going to be a couple of minutes. I'll just move on to the bass. Oh, dear. There we go. Hey, how's it going? Thanks, you siphon and got the... I've got the bucket. Yeah, I didn't drop the bucket. Obviously. Hey, Ron Van He, yes. I'm back. It's like, you never know what's going to happen. It's proper live. None of your boring, everything works type nonsense. You know, it's like, things don't work at all. Then we've got 10 back. How's it going? If you could spike the likes again, that would be awesome. Likely the fact that I'm a complete mutant and cannot and pulled the camera out the computer. I can't put the horn or telly down. Yeah, but it's a telly, Alex. That's a problem with tellies. They're pure amazing. A telly doesn't have to be as good as other guitars to be good. Maybe not a popular opinion, but it's also got strap pickups in it, which are a wee bit better as well. No, excellent. Yeah, cheers, Pontiac. Spike the likes again. Maybe it'll be better for me doing it that way. But I mean, yeah, so I don't know. Hey, you, how's it going? How's the noon? Oh, I'm just recovering from a minor disaster where I pulled the camera out of the computer. Hey, I've been following Jennifer on Facebook. Been pretty cool seeing you getting involved. Some really character for yes. Well, I'm going to say that miserable as per usual. Yeah, it's like, yeah, but that's the thing. You know, I'm all smiley and all that. So whenever we take a photo, that's like, I've got a different persona. You know me. You know I'm not. You know I'm a smiley folk. Especially if you met me. I'm a smiler, but it's more fun being grumpy. Everyone's shown up today. Keep this stream monetized. Leave the smoking to us. Yeah, I don't think it's not that worth. I don't do the YouTube for the money. It's nice getting some money. I did. I think it was 2 months. Got me enough money to actually get a payment, and it's not really gone up. But I mean, that's fine. I know that there's at any point I could toe the line and do what everyone wants. I actually don't have the other light on. The light's all right just with that one. I forgot to turn on the big light. It's good, but yes, I'm going to take some credit for the JPAX guitars. Unjustly, but Jennifer hadn't painted a guitar. Well, I've actually got an early one. Jen painted a few guitars a couple of years ago. She did like artwork guitars. Did one with Frank Zappa on it. Did one with David Bowie on it, and then bought a West Tone Thunder bass at a car boot sale for 40 quid or something like that, and painted it. Just painted it to look like a bit like a rusty gate because it had brass parts on it that were rusty. So it's kind of like a painting on it, and she put it up on one of the guitar sites, and she got nothing but abuse for ruining a West Tone Thunder. So she gave up. This is a couple of years ago, and I fitted her kitchen, I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago, something like that. And part of the payment was like, do you want this West Tone bass? It's like, West Tone Thunder? Yes, I'll have that. Thank you very much. And then, 2 months ago, me and Scott were going round to Jen's to do her shed, and she'd been at a car boot sale, but cheapy strats. Like, do you want this as part paint? Oh yeah, that's cool. So what are you doing? I'm going to paint it a bucky caster. What's that? I've told this story a lot of times. Like, well, want me to paint it? Yeah, do that. And it was like we were building the shed and she started painting. I was like, that looks fucking amazing. So she did 2 guitars. Her and an SX. She bought an SX Les Paul copy and this Strat. And then I was down the second day, and because they looked fucking amazing, I don't think she knew what they were going to look like once they had hardware on them. And then so I took down, that was one of them, and a Yamaha bass and a Flying V, and then got them painted. And then once I'd taken back the following week, I was like up here. Once they dried, I'd taken it away, put the hardware on it, and showed her. She's like, that looks brilliant. Because I knew it was going to look brilliant. Because so that I'm taking credit for it. If Malco Stream was financially successful, we would Stream Team X Packs would be buried in the chat by punters. That's true, but I would put it into a special thing. If there was too many folk talking, I would change it because you thought, or I would just fucking, you lot are fucking brilliant. Not just being a pure sook. It's like if it wasn't for there's like 10 of you or 50, you lot. I know you know your names. You're the reason this works. Otherwise, I would just have given up after a week, or after 2 weeks. I would just have given up if it wasn't for you people. Honest, not just being a sook. That's honest. No, in 5 years' time, there'll be a Stratocaster Ian, and there'll be a Ponty Firebird, and there'll be a Pontiac Firebird, actually, and a Mr. White, and a Kit Kat's Telecaster. You'd all be there, and you'd all have your own models. I always found getting a nice clear coat on a guitar to be a total pain in the arse. It totally is. It totally is. It's I hate painting guitars. There's no fun in it. Jez does it, and he can do it really amazing. I mean, his guitars are fucking like proper custom shop, amazing looking things. These don't look like that, but it's kind of not the point. A little bit. This one actually, if you get this one is quite shiny and stuff like that, but that's not really. It's the art that's on the guitar. These are not. There's not another one like this, and there'll never be another one like this. There is a guitar, if it's not sold yet, which is kind of similar, but not exactly the same. Slightly different colours and stuff, but this sort of tartan idea. The whole idea is that I can't believe that she's still coming out with ones that are completely different. There was actually these water-based wipe-on poly. All these folk go, yeah, that's what do it. We love you too, Mr. Whitesnake. Totally. No, I mean, honestly, I know it's getting a bit heavy there. Maybe the drink's starting to hit me a little bit. But I mean, it's like, yeah, no, I wouldn't be doing YouTube if it wasn't for you lot. It's different. Fernie, yeah, totally. Fernie Fernandez. But yeah, no, painting guitars is a pig. And the thing is, you see so many people. There was actually a guy. Jen put up someone said, if you're not on Jennifer Armstrong's Facebook, it's worth a look because you get to see all these things. Someone suggested she does a coffee table book, and it's like there's a lot of hassle involved in that, and I totally get that. I can't be bothered doing that, but I mean, it would be cool because I mean, these guitars. Is there any guitar that looks like this? No, it's like there's none, and they're different. They keep coming out differently. But it was like some luthier in America only builds guitars. I think he said he was 70 or something like that. Only builds guitars without using any like electric tools, all hand built, and saying that they've got a personality and a life to them, which I get. That's maybe why the earlier, mind you, that's maybe what the Japanese one, because they're hand built rather than one of your off the production line made by machine type things, which have zero soul. You can, if a good guitar player can take one of these guitars and impart soul on it with what you play, totally. But the guitar itself has nothing. Whereas these JPAX ones are guitars. They're not. I mean, they're pointing at them. Some of them are very expensive, very good guitars, but they're not. Once they're painted, they've suddenly got a life and they're completely different. Look at that wee Epiphone SG. That's just an Epiphone SG. That's the best Epiphone. That's the best SG I've ever played. The best SG I've ever played. Obviously, me and Scott set it up properly. I put better pickups in it and stuff like that, but that's not really the point. The fact that it's the color and what it looks like gives it a soul and gives it a life, makes it alive. It's better than any other SG I've ever played, even though it's a bolt-on neck and stuff like that. And it's like some American Luthier had commented on our page and said that, and then there was some guy who'd saying no one's ever done this before. It's amazing, something completely new. And somebody took umbrage to that, and they were like, "Oh no, oh, lots of us do this. Here's the one I did, which is a copy of Jimi Hendrix's guitar. Here's another one, which is a copy of another Jimi Hendrix guitar, and here's one that's got like a Union Jack on it, one that's got an American flag on it." And you're like, just jumping in because obviously super jealous, and it's like not really what Jennifer's doing. It's like that's not a copy of anything. It's completely new. But yeah, Pontiac, I would buy a Jeff. I would buy a thing. The problem is it takes 6 months, and you've got to get somebody to do all the computer shit. If any of you guys can do it, know how to use Photoshop and shit, should fucking you should cut you in on it totally. I'm cutting on the JPAX guitars a bit, but I'm not getting nothing. You know what I mean? Because it's part of the process. Is she could paint the guitars, but they do need assembled and wired up and shit like that. So but it's kind of like we're kind of like a mad gang, the three of us. You've got your West, Alexander. I think so, but I mean that's the point. If you realise, I mean, I'll give you a shot of my Gibson SG. It's better than your Westfield. It's not different, no. It's a bit better, but as you say, it's cost £800, and it's like, would you not rather than have? I don't know what you pay. I can't remember what you paid for it. I mean, £100, something like that. You know what I mean? It's like you could get like 8 guitars, and you could have like you've got. You could have a Strat, and a Telly, and a Les Paul, an SG, and they're all 90% as good as one. No, not a Les Paul because they cost £2,500. But you know what I mean? Les loves Mad Malcolm. I hope so. Yes, I've been noticed a couple of times here. U7P, yeah. I don't know. The thing is, it's like I do have one old Gibson. I've got a 68 EBO. It's an EBO, which is not a great. It looks fucking brilliant, but it's kind of handy builty. Like all these ones are now. Well, even that one, which has now been broken down into parts, painted, extra shit put in it, and then hand built. So it's still a hand builty thing. There's an organic thing where somebody putting the neck on, somebody putting things in is different from a machine doing it. So I mean, I like my J Turser. I don't really know J Turser. Not a real Gibson. Inferior feel. Sort of. I mean, the thing is, I remember when I got the real Gibson SG because my first good guitar that I liked was an F1 SG, and my second good guitar that I liked was the Gibson version. And the Gibsons had much better pickups in it, much better pickups. But the actual guitar isn't better than the Samick Epiphone one. Really, it's like maybe a couple of percent, but not that much. If you set it up well, if you buy any sort of cheap guitar and you actually spend some time setting it up well, it's going to play better than most of the ones you see. Because I mean, so many people, like, I don't know what the percentage is, will have. There's like, I've got a Fender Mexican Strat, blah blah blah, and it's like, yeah, but it's enough for them to know that they spent X £100 on a guitar, so they're happy with it. That's fine. They just don't know that the setting up and the take it to bits and actually making it, doing the things that weren't done at the factory to make it perfect, makes it better. I'm trying to sell a wee shitty guitar just now, a Jacksville, and by all accounts, it should be terrible, but it plays and sounds better than a lot of expensive guitars I've seen and played in. I mean, obviously, if I buy one of these guitars, I set it up. But many people just don't realise that. It's like, especially bass players are especially bad for it. It's like, I bought a new bass. Why? Because the last one had a high action, right? Maybe adjust the truss rod, clean it. No, just buy a new one. And it's like that. A lot of people do that, which is fine. Do you like your bass strings fresh? I wish I do, but I can't afford to pay for them. I mean, I've got bass guitars that I've got there. I've got a couple of basses that I've got the original strings from the factory on them, and they're from the 80s, which is disgusting. It's just paid £25 for a set of bass strings. It's like really annoying. I love the reality that Fender instruments were made by many Mexican immigrants and Mexican Americans. Regular folk, a true American story. I know, I know, I know. But I mean, it does boil down to, I don't know. I mean, that's where I think Japan's a bit different. I mean, I'm just going to say better. I mean, I know it's a subjective thing. Hey, Papa Blue, how's it going? I'm back. Yeah, I pulled the camera out. Old is good, but I mean that Gibson Epiphone, that Gibson EBO I've got, but a part of that, because it's from '68, it does have a sort of thing about it. But that a lot of that might just be in your head. Do you know what I mean? It's like, see, I was talking to Scott the other night about, see, like, if any other guitars that I don't have that I'd like, and I at some point I think would like a '60s Gibson SG Special with P90s in it, but I want a '60s one. I don't want one that's built just now and then got $1,000 worth of scratching and chipping done to it to make it look old. I want the original one because I know what it's like, because I've got that EBO, which you're sitting there and you're going like that pair. I know it maybe depends when you come from. I mean, most of my guitars are from the 80s, the Japanese from the 80s, and yeah, totally, aye, but that's not really my era. Mine like, the 60s. You're sitting there, I've got a '68 EBO, and you're sitting going up here. When this bass was first played, the Beatles were still going. You know what I mean? Black Sabbath didn't exist yet. All these things, and that gives it a sort of woo thing to it, regardless of the quality. But it's still, regardless of it, I know that it's a placebo thing, but I kind of feel it, and it's like, yeah. So I sort of get it. I mean, I've never played. Well, actually, Scott's got a '69 Fender Strat, and to be honest, I've not really had a proper shot of it since he got it refretted. But it's lovely. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. Is it a better guitar than that? He'll probably tell you himself. It probably isn't. Everyone show up. Where's Joachim? Yeah, where is Joachim? Joachim, we miss you and we love you. And I don't know what it was you did to get banned from the stream, but you obviously did. I'm sorry. I wish if there was anything I could do. I mean, if I had an option to message you or something to get you in, I wish I knew what it was. I don't know what it is. I didn't do anything, but it's really annoying. Steve Zero, a Pete Townsend one. Yeah, well, the Pete Townsend, Tony Iommi one. Yeah, totally Mike Oldfield. P90 is so unique. Well, the thing is, I've got my P90 guitar, so I mean, yes, I do get it. That's my Sabbath guitar. Okay, it's not technically an SG, but it's like an 80s Aria Matsumoku built, so it's fucking awesome. Probably better. It's probably a better guitar than an actual '60s Gibson SG. But I don't know. It's a funny thing. The thing that really blows me away is you can buy like a '60s Gibson SG from the custom shop, and they're like $5,000 or something like that. A real one from the '60s doesn't cost that much. That much. I mean, obviously it's way more than I would pay for a guitar, but you're talking about £1,500 or something. So would you rather have an SG from the '60s, like actually from the '60s, or a Les Paul Standard new for $2,500 from price to price? And you're like, well, what? It doesn't have any appeal to me at all. You were 6 when you I was -10, but yeah, totally. I mean, I do like that, just because it's rather because it's old, and it's like it does. I'm willing to put up with some of these things. It's like I do get it. It can't just be the most comfortable and the best sounding and the best playing. That's not 100% of what's going on. It kind of. Oh, I made a massive mistake. So, hey, I'm Wales. How's it going? Oh, color codes. See, I find it difficult. People message me, and and I'm not wanting to be rude about it, but it's dead difficult when someone goes up here. Oh, here's a picture of the inside of my guitar. It doesn't work. Why does it not work? I followed the diagram that I got online, and it's like it's difficult. I've been there. I do understand that for wiring up certain things. Like if you got me to wire up, I don't know, like a timer for the boiler or something like that, I would be literally just red wire here, blue wire here, that kind of thing. But I know how guitars work, so I'd look at it and I know what the things are. It doesn't really matter what color they are. It becomes difficult. So it is annoying. Basically, the best way around is to actually understand what the wire it up. Because I mean, I know the thing that really pisses me off about guitar wiring and the pickup, the wire colors from pickups is so many companies use the same colors. They've got green, black, red, and white. And on a Seymour Duncan, I think the red and the white are your middle, the ones that tape off, and black's the start, green's the earth, but green's the hot, and then on some other ones it's the other way around, and some of them it's the white and the green that go together, and you're like, but they're using the same colors. That's really annoying. At least when you're using a Matsumoku pickup, you're like, oh, look at this wiring diagram, and you go, right, green, black, red, and white. They're the colors we've got. You look at your MMK45 and it's orange and brown, and you're like, what the fuck? So you have to work out what the wires actually do to work it out. But there is no standardization, but you can work out what they are. And the guitar site, which to be honest, I've not been on for a couple of years, I assume it's still there. Hey Ian, sorry for being a TQ. I don't know what TQ means, but tad late. It doesn't matter. We've already had a disaster and it shut down a Kitty Cats who's now not back on again. I was like, he's always moaning about Telecasters. Like, you don't have a Telecaster in your wall? So I was like, right, fuck you. Lifted the Telecaster off the wall, pulled the camera out the computer. It's now up there, so I've now got a Telecaster on the wall. And everyone went to shit, and because I've been drinking, I don't know how to fix it. Hey Thomas, how's it going? Yeah, what was it? The standardized color coding. I know it's annoying, isn't it? But I mean, it doesn't sound right, but it is literally a pickup, a single coil pickup, right? Is a magnet with a wire wrapped around it. I think it's 10,000 or 6,000 times or something. So basically, all you've got is the start of that wire and the end of that wire that's wrapped around a magnet. That's it. If you take those two wires either way around, stick them on a jack socket to the two terminals on a jack socket, and plug it put it in a guitar, it works. It's full bung. There's no tone control, but that's the principle. If you've got a humbucker, it's two coils stuck together in series. You have to you have to turn the magnet round and wrap it the other way, but it's still, that's thinking about it in those terms. It's a really, really simple circuit. And it's like, I find it difficult. I know this from experience trying to explain to somebody in person, like even the most simple switch that I've put in, and you can see them just glazing out. It's like, I've lost you after 6 words, lost them, and it's not hard. Look up the internet. It's almost like they've made it. The people who know how to do it don't want to tell you how it works. They want to go, blah, 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 blah. It's the same as like when you look up someone who's like, I remember looking up how you adjust a truss rod, and it was like, I think it was in England or America, it was like, to adjust a truss rod, you get your special ruler thing from Stumac, which is 100 quid, and then it's like, and then you put it on your jig, and it's like, you can adjust the truss rod with just an Allen key, but they don't want to tell you that, because if they tell you how to adjust the truss rod, and then at the end of it, it's like, if you find this a bit difficult, here's my shop address, you can come. So it's like they're not wanting to show you that it's easy, but it's the same thing with pickups, and there's so much voodoo about it. None of it that doesn't work much. It's really annoying. Only a bottle of Merlot. I've not even. You've drank more than me. I've only had half a bottle of Bucky, and I'm pure hammered. But it's because I think I'm losing moisture at an alarming rate. I'm fucking sweating to bits. That's why I'm wearing a black t-shirt, so you can't see the big fucking black stains of. I'm not actually playing the guitar. I'm going to open the window just to let some heat out for a couple of minutes. God, It's so quiet here, Milton Campsie. It's ridiculous. So I mean, when I'm talking here, if anybody on the streets walking past are totally going to hear me. But so what? Synthesia, Stevie. What's synthesia? Is that when you get? I've been there. Is that when you suddenly start getting into synthesizers and you start looking them up? Yeah. I joined Jesse Ray's band playing, and I played Michael's Yamaha DX21. The first time I'd ever played synth was in that, and then that weekend I was on stage playing Chainsaw with one finger, and then I got into synth. So I got like my mini brute. I've still got a Moog, a Casio CZ1. You know, I went. I think they're amazing. Hey, 9 sandwiches are. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, welcome. Oh, I'm just talking quietly for the next couple of minutes, but the oxygen that's coming in that window is wonderful. Ah, oh, seeing sounds as colors. Wow. No, I get that. I've heard about that before. In some ways, maybe a little bit, but not an extreme case. There's a part of that. Buy a cheap guitar and fiddle about. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, if it's a cheap guitar, fiddle about with it, because I mean, it's like that. That's how I started off doing it. I ended up with it's like, so that doesn't matter if you fuck it up. At the time when I first started messing about with guitars, like the Malcocaster, which is still kicking about, yeah, I had a Schecter Telly, I've still got it. So I don't want to mess about with that because that's a really expensive guitar. So you don't, I wouldn't take, it's like, I remember someone happy, oh, you'll find the date if you take the neck off. I'm not taking the neck off. What happens when I put it back on again? It's not as good. What happens if I break it? What happens if I ruin it? It's like, whereas if you starting off with a guitar you found in a charity shop for 20 quid or in Gumtree for 50 quid, something like that. Look at it, be really logical the way I am with it. So it's like, okay, you've spent, let's say, if you look on Facebook Marketplace or Gumtree, you're going to be able to find a guitar for 40 or 50 quid, right? Like a Strat copy or something. So inherently, you're not going to break the neck. And if you can, even if you do somehow manage to break the neck, you're still going to be able to get some of your money back by selling the body, selling the pickups, individually putting them on eBay, that sort of thing. So you can't really lose, but you can just spend time trying to make it work. And then you'll suddenly realize that actually, like what I did it, with that Hondo, suddenly you realize that once you've built it up, you go, this is a proper guitar. It didn't work, and I made it work. And everything's adjustable. And for that one, you're not bothered about filing the frets and chipping it, scratching it in that. But you can just work away on it, and you can actually get something that's actually really good for peanuts, for the price of a couple of bottles of Bucky, and it's great fun. Yeah, Bucky. You have to change your spelling though, Thomas, to get it right. It's buck fast because it gets you bucked fast. Yeah, seeing sounds as colors or seeing time as linear chart with compartments. Yeah, no, I do know that definitely comes in. Santana's got that a little bit. Could be doing the rain. No, it's not the rain problem. It's the heat. It's the heat. No, but I have heard that. I think it was in QI. When I used to watch telly, I used to watch a program called QI, which is like a panel show with Stephen Fry on it. It was always on Dave, so I think it was always reruns I watched, and they were talking about that, and it's like you could totally see it as colours. What is reality? Asking for a bucket. Reality is what you make it. Reality is your reality. And Mr. Whitesnake, you should obviously, you can get it. You can get it. Okay, I'm paying £8 a bottle. If you look on Amazon or something, you might have to pay twice that to get a bottle, but it's worth it. Just to try it. Master of Reality, yeah. Well, I'll be playing Master of Reality on this Master of Reality coloured guitar. Yeah. We very nearly, after the end, very nearly play all of Master of Reality apart from Solitude, the slow one. And Oh, which one's the intro to Children of the Grave? Not that one. Is it Orchid or Embryo? I can't remember. We don't play one of them as well. We play the rest of it After Forever, Into the Void, Children of the Grave, Sweetleaf. Well, Sweetleaf we're not quite mastered yet. We're going to make a. We're not going to be able to do Sweetleaf at this next gig. I'm sorry if it's your favourite. The solo in Sweetleaf is really difficult. Well, not for me because I'm the master of reality. Well, also I'm playing the bass, but it's really. I mean, if you actually listen to the drums and shit, and the solo's impossible. But it will be there once we've done a couple of gigs. Sweetleaf is definitely on the list for one we have to do. Yeah. Oh. I'm annoyed about the rain because it's been really hot the last couple of days, and then earlier on I heard the thunder, distant thunder. Up here, yes, and it got dark. It was like that window full open. Yes, going to get some relief. Not really. It just got wetter. Still fucking 20 degrees. Still sweaty Betty. Still really annoying. You know, it's a good excuse, Ian. Sorry for not chatting too much. Big bloody tomcat stole my computer chat, trying to move the weights bench to my keyboard. I'm sorted. Well, there you go. Yes. Well, I do appreciate all of you chipping in and keeping me going. Especially thanks for coming back after I managed to pull the fucking camera out. Embryo leads into Children of the Grave. That's the one. Yeah, that's I always think that sounds like, is it a Christmas song? We are but it's in C sharp, so it's a different tune. Yeah, no, to be honest, we don't actually do that one as well. We play Sleeping Village as an intro to it because it's we play it in a different key. Bit messed up. I worked out to play that at the bass. I was like, when I first joined the band, I was like, we can play ba 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 ba. I'll just play it the bass then, but it was kind of cool the way it works in from the song we put in. It's called this bass. This is a JPAC special. I've got a special relationship with JPAC special because I've got quite a few guitars painted specifically for me, which nobody else has. So I mean, I've got the biggest JPAC collection, but yeah, I think there's probably a slight element of, well, there is. I know there is an element of, she knows that if it does fuck up, because she's fearless, if it does fuck up, she's not ruining somebody else's guitar to the extent of it's only mine, so that's fine. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to accidentally punch somebody I didn't know, but I wouldn't mind accidentally punching somebody I did know because they know me and they know it didn't mean it and all that stuff. So there's a bit of that. So I've got kind of some of the more experimental ones. I did kind of that SG. I lost that SG because of doing this. The Epiphone SG. So I remember going into that. After she's done the first couple of guitars, right? I'm not doing any more guitars for anyone else. I'm only buying guitars and doing them, which I totally get it. I mean, the difference of me wiring up that one crazy, although technically it's not mine, it's Jen's, but we've got a wavelength thing that works together, so I could do whatever I wanted with it because it basically was just a black, I think it's an Encore Strat. So it's like, well, worst case scenario, I fuck it up, I'll just buy another one. You know, it's like, but that gave me the freedom to do what I want. Whereas if you gave me a guitar to do something with, something that was your pride and joy, and I didn't really know you that well, it's like, oh, I don't know. It's not the same as having complete freedom to do whatever the fuck I want, which is the same as what happens with these, because I've basically, Jen knows me well enough to know that she has complete freedom to do whatever the fuck she wants with these things. And some, I mean, that's why I've got the best ones, the best JPACs. I think part of it is because it was done for me. So not that she knows what I like. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of bizarre. We Three Kings of Orientara, taxi in one car, one scooter balloon, the return of smoking and finds the car. That's the one. We Three King. I can't remember the song, but I remember thinking that the first time I ever heard it. I thought it sounded like, is it him or somebody played at Sunday school? I remember that. Living in the Matrix, Sleeping Village. We're also doing, what's the other one that sounds a bit like Sleeping Village? The title, Behind a Wall of Sleep. Man and red run with sorrow. Round and round with no tomorrow. That's the train with walking tomorrow. Down to the reservoir tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I'm playing that in the wrong key, but yeah. Yeah, cheers. Cheers, Spike the likes, that'd be awesome. Doesn't cost you anything. Yeah. Never seen it. The Matrix is surprisingly really good. It does have a mad sci-fi concept. I don't really like the style of the film, if you know what I mean. It's a bit too stylish, we're pure edgy and cool, but the actual idea is fucking great. The first Matrix film, definitely worth watching. Definitely. Watch the first one, it's amazing. Next to a shit. Yeah, I totally get that. But it's like that whole thing, it's like the second and third ones are just style. I mean, honestly, I don't even know what happens in them. I did try and watch them. And the third one, I fucking accidentally smoked a joint that Scott had put in the ashtray. I didn't know it was Scott's joint, and fucking I fell asleep and don't remember any of it. Like proper, I don't ever fall asleep, but I did. You're passed out. Yeah, soundproof studio, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've just got old age pensioners as neighbours. I've never had any complaints, but I mean, I'm not really that loud. I think as long as you're not, it depends when you're loud. I think. I mean, even when I stayed back at mum and dad's house, I was a bit of a dick sometimes. But at least when it hit midnight on a Saturday night, that was when it's like pure right. We're going to stop jamming. So and it's the difference between just having loud music and techno blasting until 5 a.m. is different from every Friday night. They're noisy till 10 o'clock and then they turn off. That's, I'm just looking at it from, viewing things from other people's points of view. I mean, yeah, it would be fucking annoying if, Buddhism projected reality. Anyway, so a lot of people think bass is easier because there's less strings. Now your timing needs to be spot on. Yes, bass is super, super, super important. I was just lucky because when I started playing the guitar, I'd played the guitar for, I don't know, 6 months or something like that. And then I joined a band with some folk I knew, and everyone played the guitar apart from the drummer. And I knew somebody who had a bass, so I borrowed it. I was the only one that could play it. I was just learning to play lead guitar, and suddenly bass became sort of that. But yeah, totally. I mean, bass is amazing. There's no excuse. I know a lot of people who play the guitar don't play the bass, but you should have a bass. I mean, you don't need to spend an awful lot of money. I mean, I've got a wee Jim Deacon bass through there, a Jim Deacon T bass. I mean, you can pick one up. I'll sell it for 100 quid, pure fully set up. And it's like, it's a bass, and there's so much joy to be had from it. Okay, maybe I'm not saying that it's as good as it's as good as a guitar, but if you've played the guitar for 5 years or 10 years or forever, the bass gives you other things to play. And when you learn things on the bass, suddenly you realize you go back to the guitar and you can do other things on the guitar that you couldn't do before. To really play both. Bass is easy. No, it is easy, but it's easy to, yes, it can be. Well, there you go. Well, Macca, I don't really like Jacko, but John Paul Jones, Lemmy, Geddy Lee, yeah. Eddie on Tech Tree John, someone was asking earlier on about Hammer Slammers. I can't remember who it was. This is already a second startup because I pulled the camera out of the computer because I'm drunk. So I had to restart it. But somebody earlier on was asking about Hammer Slammers, and I know you have them, so you can talk about them. So whoever that was, ask Andy there, Neon Tetrahedron. He's the Hammer Slammer man. Yeah. But I mean, the thing is that even just to understand, the first thing I ever played the bass was, I remember the first time I ever played the bass, which was, to be honest, probably only about 2 or 3 weeks before the first time I played the bass in a band, and it was like, I was at the bass. What is it? So how is it changed? Bro, it's just the same as the first four strings of the guitar. Like up here, I don't really get it. Is that try playing Dazed and Confused on it? I was like, up here, okay. Well, I got it right first time. And at that point, I went, oh, right. Okay, yes. Okay, yes. Yeah, yeah. The bass. Yeah. And then suddenly the bass is pure amazing. But you choose rock. Geezer's not Jewish, but I mean, yeah, no, Geezer. Well, that was the thing. Geezer's an amazing bass player. That's the difference. See, because not necessarily at the start. Did I start playing? I think I started playing the guitar maybe 6 months after finding Black Sabbath, and Black Sabbath were a big realization for me because nobody else I knew liked them, but for me it was like, how can you not like this? This is the best thing ever, and everyone was like, for fun, no, put on Radiohead, no, I'm like, what? It's like, what? Stone Roses? Have you heard Black Sabbath? And it's like, for me, it was just like, but. So basically, my bass playing style was always Geezer Butler. I obviously love Paul McCartney. Your silly love song, fucking amazing, and John Paul Jones, and it's brilliant. But Geezer Butler was always there, and I think, not to be too big headed about it, but part of that, when I joined the Black Sabbath band, I could play like Geezer Butler. I'm not playing the bass. I'm playing the bass like Geezer Butler because that's my thing. So I can do, every time I watch any other Black Sabbath cover bands and they can't really do it because they've got a bass player. They don't have somebody who's a mad Geezer Butler bass player. It's a different thing. And it's like, it might not, you don't need to know what I'm doing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you know what the bass is like, whether you play the bass or that, but it makes the band different. I can control the band. You know, I'm okay. Quite a lot of the time, I'm doubling up like Craig and the riffs doing and stuff like that. But I'm also linking. I'm taking the guitar and I'm adding it to the drums and I'm making them play together, all subconsciously and in there because everyone's played for ages. But it's vitally important. Yeah, please, I spike the likes. 25 if you not watch. It doesn't cost any money. It's good. Yeah. Cheers. Donald Fagan. Steely Dan. I need to listen to Steely Dan again. I never got Steely Dan. I bought a Steely Dan. I bought it Aja, the album, and it was like, I bought it actually because it's got a song called Peg on it. One of my pals is called Peg. I don't remember it. So I've got like, I mean, there's music I like and there's music I don't like. They're not in the music I don't like. They're in music I can listen to a Steely Dan album, or I have listened to Steely Dan albums, and after goes, what was that like? And you're like, it was all right. Nothing really grabbed me. But I mean, that could be the same for any type of music. There's a taste thing involved, not just there's lots of people I can totally appreciate what they can play, and it's like, oh, that's really amazing, but it doesn't affect me, whereas a lot of things do affect me. Hey, Von Struppel. I once had a room covered with egg cartons for soundproofing, good stuff. Bob Dylan, Cass Elliot, Baisley Swartz, I don't know what we're talking about. I mean, being in a Sabbath tribute band sounds cool. I mean, I don't like tribute bands as a general rule. It doesn't really interest me. But the Black Sabbath one was a little bit different because I kind of went, I just saw the advert and it was like, up here, that's yeah, maybe Black Sabbath because I know all of the songs. And I went in and I was actually, it was they had a Berkeley thing, which is the big studio in Glasgow, and they had it booked from 12 till 6, I think. And it was like they had lots of people applying for it. And this is thanks to Rob, the drummer, who unfortunately got cancer and died. He's not in the band anymore because he's dead. But I mentions Sabbath. Yeah, I'm pretty into Sabbath, got a bass in it, I'd quite like to join. And it's him, as I talked, I was happy. I sent him a video that I'd done before that, playing the hard road on a guitar on my own with a I didn't think I had a drum track. I was just playing electric guitar, the song The Hard Road. And then, so I was like, yeah, do you want to come in between like 1 and 2? Because they had like 6 people who were coming in between 12 and 6 or whatever it was. And it kind of went down. And then by the time it got to like a couple of days before, it was like, I just come in whenever you want. Like, and it's basically because Rob had watched me play that and gone like that. That's him. It's that guy. But I don't know who anyone else applied for it. Maybe accomplished bass players, but it went that. No, that's Geezer Butler. That's him. So into the studio, and it was like pure. What song? Do you want a list of songs to play? And I was like, pure. No, I can play them. I'll be fine. And I could always hear in the text message going, okay. And it was the thing was I could play all the songs. I just needed to know what key they were in because they weren't necessarily in the key that I could play the guitar for. Never played the bass for any of them, but there's a lot of doubling up going up. And then the only thing that really fucked me up was the bit behind the solos. So behind the solos, I was in prog bands and stuff, so I can play Caravan, Camel, and all that. So I was playing kind of harmonies and solos that went along with the guitar solo, but not what the actual bass was doing. There's quite a lot of songs like War Pigs where basically it's just kind of like pure. That kind of thing. So I was all over the place. It was like pure after we played, I don't know, 10 songs. I'm like, I can fucking play every single one. And just because they're in my soul, I know them so much. It's great. Oh, sorry, I'm not really catching up with them, and I'm just gibbering on pish. Mark Knopfler, the Noseless Point. Keith Moon, Money for Nothing, yes. Yes, I mean, the problem I've got with Dire Straits is Songs of Swing, yes. All of the Money for Nothing album, yes. The theme from The Local Hero, yes. That's it though. I don't know any other songs. I've got the albums because they were dead easy to pick up for 50 pence, but none of them really jumped out as being as good. I don't know. I'm maybe a little bit strange. Oh. So I didn't know. Are we still talking about Jewish musicians? I don't know. I know Geddy Lee. We just go for people with a big nose. Pete Townsend Jewish. Got a big nose. Might as well be. Oh. What about the Stones you tune? I saw Justin Hawkins talking about it, so I heard wee bits of it. I don't know. The Stones are a weird one. I mean, I was really into this. It's funny, you get kind of influenced by the people around you. I mean, Scott, who's not like he's given up on a thing. He pure hates the Stones, and I was like, no, I love them. The Stones were my favorite band. Like, see when you make that decision, when you suddenly go, "Who's your favorite band?" You're like, "Oh, blah, 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 blah," like all these things. At one point, it was the Stones, and then it became Black Sabbath later on. And even though Black Sabbath at the time, but I figured the Stones was less weird, and other people would have heard of them. I mean, I couldn't believe it. The first when I was doing the YouTube thing, I was like, I've joined a Black Sabbath band, and there was so many folk comments going up here, love Black Sabbath. What? Other people like Black Sabbath? Really? But other people like them as well, and I was like, I don't know, it became a bit weird. So it was kind of all right for them to be my favorite band. New Stones is all production. I don't know. I mean, they are really fucking old. I mean, the first band I saw wasn't the Stones. They were actually the third band I saw. I saw Primal Scream. I'll be honest, I didn't enjoy it. And then I saw Page and Plant, and then about a week after Page and Plant, I saw the Stones at Wembley. So it was a different range. Sorry, been catching a big spider. She's done not collect spiders. She wanted me to get rid of it, like the Stones ish. I do. I love the. There's on the after the end gig. There was actually a photo of this bass. Wow, this one. It's funny, see, because of the colours Jen uses, they change during the day. Just now it looks quite dark and purpley. It's kind of a really light blue, like church. Well, you probably not. Church carpet purple is what it is in daylight, but it's very different just now. It is. It's very nice. I used to like the Stones better than the Beatles. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the Stones have just got. I love. Jesus, that's a big spider. Yeah, just talking about spiders. Did you see it? No, you can't see it. It's out the shot, but that's a. No, I'm not going to. Oh my God, there's two. We're going to have a war. What's going to happen here, right? I don't think I'll disconnect it. Look at there's two spiders fighting, right? They don't look big. In fact, I could have, because it's the other way around. Those two spiders are both quite big. Are they going to fight? Fight! Fight! Actually, they're both running away in different directions. Yeah. So I'm trying to angle this so it doesn't quite have the Madonna's tit light bulb. Yeah. Yeah, I don't kill spiders. Spiders are right. They don't. Not just when you're young. People like Black Sabbath. Yes. Totally. I think I mean, the Stones have. I mean, I'm just saying the Hot Roxy, like their hits, their the last time Paint It Black, 90s Nervous Breakdown, Satisfaction, Under My Thumb. That lot are fucking the best pop songs. And then they've got the sort of grown. Well, I like Satanic Majesty's Request, the sort of psychedelic one, the one that's a bit like Sergeant Pepper, but much better than Sergeant Pepper. Then you've got your Beggar's Banquet, Let It Bleed, Sticky Fingers, and Excel, which I'm not as keen on as the other three, but they're just like rock solid, amazing. They kind of brought people in, and those albums are just fucking world changingly good. I even like Goat's Head Soup a lot, and then they never really did anything after that sort of kind of. Although I mean, I do like Some Girls, and the Stones album of my era was Voodoo Lounge, which is great, and even Bridges to Babylon. So I mean, yes, they definitely got some bits. I do. I should. I've probably got a kit. I should dust it, but it's fucking. I find it amusing. Jigsaw puzzle. I could probably with an acoustic guitar or even an electric guitar, and if I wasn't drunk, play all of Beggar's Banquet. I definitely have played that all on my own. Maybe not getting all the words, but I could play all the songs in Beggar's Banquet. And probably most of Sticky Fingers. Beggar's Banquet, Sticky Fingers. Probably Let It Bleed's amazing. But, I feel we're getting quite a lot onto the Jewish thing, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not really aware of knowing very many Jewish people or anything about it, or really thinking about it. To be honest, religion doesn't really bother me. Really. But Jigsaw Puzzle, just trying to do this Jigsaw Puzzle before it rains anymore. I could definitely put the bass there. There's a tramp dipping on my doorstep. Gotta waste his time with a methylated sandwich. Gotta walking clothesline. When I waited so patiently, lying on the floor. I'm just trying to do this jigsaw puzzle, but it rains anymore. Mr. White's like 13 beers. That's quite well done. I always thought Americans were lightweights. That's drinking like a Scotsman. Sister Morphine, I don't know, on the bass, really. think I would play a minor on the bass. But yes, all of those songs. I don't know if it's just there's not. Bill Wyman's a bit creepy, but he's not like a really standout bass player in many songs. Obviously, Miss You, but I mean, not. It's not. There's so much percussion and hand claps and rhythm guitars and stuff in the Stone stuff. The bass doesn't really stick out. It wasn't really till I heard Zeppelin and Sabbath where the bass became something that was whoa. In the Stones, it's kind of like there's not that much. I don't think. So, if I could play it on the guitar, if I had a guitar, I could probably play it. I like Penny Ocean. Yeah. I've never played that before, but it's there. Link Ray was a Cherokee and Johnny Cash was half Cherokee. Native rock too, yeah, totally. Link Ray, I with his is it what's the song? The drunk, that one. Aye, that's good. Hendrix, quarter Native American. Wow, there you go. Not many Native Americans in Scotland. So have I ever met one? Maybe. I don't know. I don't tend to not notice. And maybe I was just brought up to not really notice it. That didn't mean anything to me. Or you can be of any race and still a dick. Doesn't matter where you're from. So you just got to judge people on how. What was it? Herman Munster said, judge people on their character rather than what you think of them beforehand. You never met Running White Deer, McDougall? Well, no, I don't think there was very many. It went the other way. Catch you later, Stark. Thanks for joining in. Oh, Jesse Ed Davis. Okay, there we go. Yes, him and his and are those two? I'm wondering whether those two spiders are actually going to try and kill each other. The big one's definitely chasing the smaller one. I wonder if they're fighting over territory or whether they're going to mate. A chip shop in Peebles. Fantastic. Yes. No, I know Jesse Ed Davis from the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus with a. That was the first time I realised I could maybe quite like Telecasters. One of the first things I ever played when I got a Telecaster. I knew that. I've never had a mohawk. The war between the spiders is gone. The big spider is a female. Really? She was kind of doing this with her arse. Is that? Yeah, it totally is very much like Spencer Davies, or what's his name, Steve Winwood. I saw a video, there was a concert that Steve Winwood was in Blind Faith with Eric Clapton, and I saw a video maybe about 10 years ago when they did a concert, and it's Steve Winwood and Eric Clapton, and they were kind of doing they did some Blind Faith, but we were just kind of jamming away, and the difference between the two of them was miles. One of them was a fucking god, and the other one was Eric Clapton. It was unbelievable. This is before I'd seen Eric Clapton and realised he was shite live, but Steve Winwood, so much more respect from me than Eric Clapton. Watching them play these songs, okay, Clapton's playing the guitar, the Strat for most of it, and quite a lot of the Stevie Winwood's playing, the Hammond organ and shit. But even when Stevie Winwood was out playing the guitar as well, it was just fucking much better. It's like one of those people you get that's got. It seems effortless what they're playing, but they're doing so much. Even though they're just playing A&D, but they're so good at it. Steve Winwood and Clapton was just kind of like posing. I don't know, kind of bizarre. Winwood could play lead guitar, Clapton a good backup. Yeah, I'm sorry, I've never really. I do like, obviously, see Cream greatest hits, White Room and Tales of Brave Ulysses. There's maybe about 5 songs that I really rate as good songs that Cream did. Kind of it. And it's like maybe even like your Layla with a big long bit at the end, it's kind of like the rest of the band, he had good people playing with him, which kind of made it. I don't know. I'm not a huge Hola, hey Rimble. Hola soy Mexico. Whatever that means, but yay, how's it going? The Last Waltz. I watched a thing the other night, which I think I want to do with my pals. It's like what are they called? The Sea of Tranquility on YouTube. It's like, I think it's like the guy used to be a radio DJ, and now he does kind of like YouTube videos. And they were talking about albums that you should like but don't. And I find it quite interesting. Someone's like, you're like, I'm sorry guys, I don't like. Because when everyone's got these things that, albums everyone fucking loves, and you don't really get it. You know what I mean? It's like, even from bands you like, there's some albums you go, yeah, I don't like that one. It's like, for some reason. But The Last Waltz was one of those ones. I remember, was it maybe the DVD or the video or the record? I remember getting it. I was going, let's just look at the people on it, and I just didn't like it at all. I didn't get it. At all. So I need to listen to it again. I've been compared to Eric Clapton after a gig and said, compared to Eric Clapton, you're saying, maybe that's good though. Maybe that's good. I don't rate. Tubular Bells. I love Tubular Bells. First side, second side's pish, but I love Tubular Bells, the first one. I can even play most of it. That was why I got a loop pedal. No, I like Tubular Bells. I'm a big Mike Oldfield fan. Tubular Bells, Omadon, Amarok. Amarok's the most angry album ever. Fucking amazing. I do like that. But just, fair enough if you don't like it. That's fine. Rimbo Hole is it somebody actually from Mexico? Awesome. Excellent. Never been. I do like Danny Trejo. He's one of my favorites, one of my heroes. Machete. So he's Mexican. So that's maybe racist. I don't think it is, but I mean, yeah, totally. I love Danny Trejo. Especially the 2 Machete films are both super, super mega awesome. Hola Yois Australiana. Well, there you go. Huh? Who's Rick Danko? I recognize the name, but I don't know who he is. I suppose it depends. I'm not a Clapton fan. Trying to relax in the white room by the station, but it's got black curtains. Yeah, I mean, but then again, how much of that is Jack Bruce? In the white room with black curtain, it's starlings on. Yeah, okay. Jack Bruce is actually from Bishopbriggs, which is 2 miles as the crow flies from here in that direction, roughly. But in saying that, I don't like. No, I mean that's. I mean that there are. I'm going to say I don't like Eric Clapton. They're Cream songs. Obviously, I've seen Ginger Baker. I've seen a couple of documentaries of Ginger Baker. He seems like an absolute cunt. It doesn't seem like a nice man at all. Jack Bruce seemed nice. I actually saw Jack Bruce in at the Canterbury Festival, and it was a bit difficult. He was playing a fretless bass, and he played "Sunshine of Your Love," and it was like, can I play "Sunshine Song"? Well, that's what it. But he was like pure. Like that, and it was like he really didn't play a very good version of it. It was very difficult. It was a pure. It's getting near love. Woo, woo. And it's like pure. Oh, okay, oh, come on, oh, it's just it's there, but yeah, it's a bit difficult. Rick Danko was the bassist for the band, probably. I mean, I've got the thing is that if it comes to the band, the song I like best is obviously The Wait, but it's the one from the Easy Rider soundtrack, which is actually done by a band called Smith, because I think there was some legal wrangling, so it was like a cover. And that's a much better version than the band version. And there's not really lit it up on Cripple Creek, You'll Found Me. And I've got the albums, what's the black and white one? I can't remember. I've got one music from the Big Pink or something like that. And they're all right, but not really my thing. I don't know. There's something, when you listen to a band and it's like, I can't really put my finger on what it is I don't like, but it doesn't get me. I don't know. Oh, Ginger was a bit fed up. Just Ginger was a bit nasty all the time. Smack being one of them. You've caught up and passed me alcoholically. Very nice. I don't even. What time is it anyway? Do I even have a clock anywhere? Where's my phone? My God, it's only 10:30. Why am I so drunk? Oh dear. I think it's the heat. See, being Scottish, I can't handle the heat. It totally knocks me out completely. It's not probably even that hot compared to what most folk are used to, but ridiculous. Irish Juice Mac was the least. Being a prick was the worst one. I think there's probably an element of that. But I mean, it's like that documentary I watched was atrocious. He was talking about he was doing a tour with his son, I think. We were doing a sort of double drum tour thing with his son, and he was going, fucking wee dick. Just shit. He totally got no sweat. He's a really crap drummer. Not you're like, that's your son, and you're doing a documentary. At least have the common courtesy, if that's what you think, lie about it and say he's good. It was terrible, man. I can't believe he was in Hawkwind. Ginger Baker. I don't know if I've ever heard any of the Hawkwind stuff that he's in, but I mean, what the fuck? Really? In Hawkwind? I don't know. He just always looked really angry. Is that not his daughter that's on the front cover of Blind Faith, and it's like they're topless and she's like 11? They're like, I always thought that was a bit of a creepy album cover. It's like a wee sort of girl who's just not really old enough to be a girl, so you're kind of going, it doesn't seem right. I wonder if it's still there. I wonder if can you still buy Blind Faith with the original cover? I mean, the album Blind Faith is amazing apart from that one song. It's just unfortunate that one song is, I think it's the entire second side of the record where it's just a drum solo, and it's like, I'm sorry, a drum solo is not music. You saw Ginger Baker in Belfast 1980? Wow. Hawkwind were a bit mental. I freaked out at Hawkwind before. Was it Hawkwind? No, it was maybe Nick Turner's Space Ritual or whatever. I think Nick Turner died actually. He seemed awful nice as well. Awful nice, unlike he kind of looked a wee bit like Ginger Baker, to be honest, as Nick Turner, but I'm sure he was really nice. The Blind Faith album cover is shocking. Yeah, I think so. Kind of shocking for the point of being shocking, though, rather than shocking but having some sort of message. It's just kind of like, why? But it's what's the song? I've not even heard it. What's the one with the wah 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 wah? That song's fucking great. It's just it's got a. I think when you go into the second side, it's like I don't know. This the whole side's only about 15 minutes long, but like 12 minutes that's is just a sort of really shit jazzy drum solo thing, and yeah. Aye, right, you cheers for joining in. I do appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. Even those 17 people watching, only 11 likes. Spike the likes. I might get a Spike the likes t-shirt. I will do t-shirts. I'm going to do it. I'm definitely going to do it. Animal from Sesame Street. No, animals from the Muppets. Yeah, I think. I mean, it's Animal from the Muppets is obviously Keith Moon, though. No, I would think, or maybe who's the other person? What's his face? Filthy Animal. His name's Phil Taylor, so it's like Filthy Animal with a P. Yeah. Phil Taylor from Motorhead seems to be fucking awesome as well. But I don't know. It's like, I don't really know that much about drums. I do know drum solos are difficult, but then again, even watching DVDs or videos of animals started on Sesame Street before the Muppets. Really, I don't know. I mean, I'm not arguing with you. I don't know. I thought the Muppets were long before Sesame Street. No, I don't know. I mean, I remember seeing Sesame Street. I don't know. The thing is, I think when we saw Sesame Streets over here in Scotland, they were reruns from maybe a lot longer ago than what we saw them, because they always seemed to be like a really bizarre thing. I don't know if maybe we did, maybe they weren't on. I don't really remember. I sort of remember Sesame. I don't remember watching it though. I always liked. This is when I'm a wee bit older. The Count, who just counted everything, a one, a two. I thought that was fucking hilarious. Never really got it though. Kind of bizarre. 1967. Really? Wow. Wow. Animal Floyd, Rolf, Zoot, Janice, Dr. Teeth. I don't know what any of that means, Andy. I mean, yeah, what I don't know. I didn't really watch TV as a kid, to be honest. I was more interested in climbing trees and chasing dinosaurs with a stick. The Count was. I do remember the Count, though. At the count, a one, a two, a three. Fucking brilliant. Probably racist, but fucking hilarious. Sesame Street 1969. Well, I don't know. I mean, I suppose it's not, because it's kind of not topical. It probably didn't matter when it was on. So, say I was watching it in 1985 when I was 7, something like that, maybe, and it was 69, so it was like it was 20 years old, maybe. Have you heard the bleeped out Count song? I have not. No, I really don't know much about Sesame Streets, to be honest. I maybe it's a sheltered upbringing. I don't know. I basically, when I was a kid, I didn't watch things. My mum used to buy the paper. Mum used to get the paper, and it told you what was on TV for the day, and shit would be ringed. And basically, our TV wasn't on unless there was something on that we wanted to watch on TV. So I didn't. It really, honestly, wasn't until I was in my 20s, I think, that the whole idea of having the TV on in the background was a thing. It's like, why is the TV on? You're not watching it. Whereas obviously I get it now. It's like I remember when I started drinking and going out to folks' houses, you'd be sitting there like, why is the TV on? So up at my house when we were, smoking joints and talking shit, playing guitars, it was like there was records on or tapes or CDs. There wasn't the telly wasn't on. We used to occasionally put it on, like, Red Dwarf's on at 9, so we'd all sit there drunk trying to focus on half an hour of Red Dwarf. That was it. Then it was off again. It didn't fucking leave it on. So it's kind of different. Muppets 74. Right, okay. Hey, Yao Hunter, how's it going? You're new, but well done. But I mean, there's some Muppet stuff that's really funny. See, I think, to be honest, I think when I was a kid, I basically watched the only things I actually really got to watch were things that my mum or dad liked. I like my dad was a bit weird, and he used to used to watch cartoons, but it was like cartoons. See, back in the day when there was only, I think it was only 3 channels. I don't think I remember there ever been 2, but like say the film that was on ended an hour. There was like, but the news was on at 6, so it would be like the film would end at 6:15, and then it would just be cartoons. My mum would circle that with a pen, and I would watch cartoons from 6:15 till 6, sort of thing. And I don't really remember watching kids' TV that much. And even then, like your Saturday morning TV shows and shit, we used to have a caravan up in Loch Lomond, which at the weekend would be at the caravan. So I'd be up the beach, climbing trees, all that crap. And then we ended up with a chalet in Loch Fyne, which is still kicking about. I need to go back there. So, and there wasn't a TV reception there. Well, they didn't have a TV in Loch, so the TV just wasn't an option. But I think the Rage Against the Machine album cover, I saw those monks burning on TV in the 60s. Wow. I didn't know that was where it's from. I knew that. I always thought it was a bit strange. I never really got Rage Against the Machine. It seemed, I didn't really know what political was. I remember the cool kids wearing like grunge jackets and having Rage Against the Machine written in their school bag, but I didn't get it. Those memes where it's like dad's watching TV with a guy standing up looking at the TV as him with Scooby Doo. Yeah. The Onion did a T-shirt that said, "I appreciate the Muppets on a much deeper level than you." Yes, but I mean, the Muppets. I didn't see it at the time. Is Alice Cooper not on the Muppets at one point? And they had like famous people on because they were kind of funny as well. I remember the music. I seem to remember my dad being like, "Ah, it's on the Muppets song," and me being kind of like, whatever, not really that interested. No, Dad never watched the news. Fuck the news. It was pure boring, depressing. I'd imagine it was all miners' strikes and all that shit when I was a kid. Didn't watch the news. Remember my papa, who was my grandpa on my mum's side, watching the news, and would always be on, and it was Moira Stewart was the newsreader. I kind of remember the credits for some reason. And then there was a time when pre Neighbours, there used to be, the Flintstones used to be on before the news. So I think kids' TV was on from 4 till 5:30, and then 5:30 to 6 was the Flintstones, the Raccoons. Do you remember that? That's a song I could play. The Raccoons music, "Run with us, we got her." So there you go. It was 1974 Muppets was an Escape from the Nightmare. Well, there you go. But you're in America, so did you not have lots of TV channels? We didn't have lots of TV channels. I remember not. I'm pretty sure that when I was right up until when I was like, of drinking age on a Sunday, the TV would literally be, the channels just wouldn't be on. So you had like BBC Two was on, and it showed horse racing. Odd 8, that was it. And the other channels just weren't on. There was nothing on them. So you didn't watch TV. And it's like, I think there was also Bolton 2, Southampton 0. Just for hours and hours. Like the football results, that was all that was on TV. You didn't get fucking TV. And then at one point, there's like, occasionally it'd be like, "Oh, Knight Rider's on." But before it would be fucking horse racing. And after it'd be horse racing. But Knight Rider would be on for half an hour. And I used to watch Knight Rider, and I loved the music at the start, and then I hated the actual program, but I liked the bit where you saw the car doing jumps and shit. But the story was just boring, and the Dukes of Hazzard was the same. I remember loving I can totally remember the intro and the outro, but the bit in the middle was just they're talking, boring. Oh, they're having a car chase. Oliver Reed on the Muppets Pure Steaming. I can imagine it. BBC Two Open University. Yes, possibly. Oh, Tommy. Pontiac, you're on it, Tommy. Tommy's fucking great. I thought Tommy was silly. The first time I ever saw Elton John was doing the Pinball Wizard, because I'd heard the name Elton John. It's like, oh, piano. I didn't really like the music, and it was like pure, oh my god, this is really funny. I'm pure getting this. It's pure in your face. Tommy's brilliant. And he's Oliver Reed is amazing in Tommy. I get it. Tommy itself is a fucking brilliant film. You've not seen Tommy? Brilliant. I was obsessed with videos of TV shutdowns during the lockdown for whatever reason. What would be TV shutdowns? I remember it ending. I think they actually did it on the. There used to be a thing. I don't know. It's like it just goes. Yeah, things have changed. I remember even when I first got my first TV and a wee black and white telly, which used to be in the kitchen. We only ever had one TV for my whole life, like a one big wooden sided TV in the living room, and then Mum got a TV, a wee black and white TV for the kitchen, and then I think that got upgraded to color, and I got a wee black and white TV of my own. And this is like, I must have been 8 or 9 or something. Spitting Image was on. I remember watching that, and I was like, actually able to watch TV, black and white. Like, I kept that black. I wish I kept that black and white TV. No, I couldn't use it because it doesn't have. No, I did. I remember having that black and white TV and having a DVD player plugged into it. That's how much I used that black and white TV. It was fucking great. Oh, Daisy Duke. I remember my dad saying Daisy Duke had amazing shorts. Don't remember that. Sorry, I was young. I remember the car. And I remember Roscoe and Boss Hog. And I remember the car doing possibly slow motion jumps that were ridiculous. That was it. I watched a lot of Open University later on. Used to be on in the middle of the night. The thing was, it was really important. It was like, it was kind of fun. Keith Moon could have been like, what happened with like when they closed down for the night? Used to have a thing called Evening Call, which was like a vicar or a priest or a minister would sit there, like, and it was like really depressing music, and he would sit there and just be him with a table lamp next to him, and he would talk about. I don't even know what they talked about. And that was it. I think that might have been a morning call as well. And then it would go off, and then you'd get the wee white dot in the middle of the screen. It would just go beep for 10 minutes, and then it would just be static. Remember static? Amazing. Ricky, see, I knew Ricky Fulton's parody of Late Call, Last Call. I need to watch some Ricky Fulton. I used to watch that when I was a kid. I think my mum and dad used to tape it. We did have a video after a Betamax video, and that was on. I think it was only on once a year, Scotch and Rye, and it was awfully good. It was just like pure. Hello. I remember the story. It was like, was it George Washington? And I was like that, and what did he pushed the outhouse down into the river or something like that. I was like, and the kid went up to his dad. He's like, yeah, I told. It was like George Washington cut down the cherry tree, and he you know, he didn't. He told the truth about it. He admitted that he cut down the cherry tree, and his father forgave him, and all that. And it was like pure. And then Ricky Fulton's dad kicked the shit out of him, belted him. Was like, pure, pure. He's like, you bastard doing that. And it was like, pure. But George Washington said that when, okay, I pushed the outhouse down into the river, it's like, but I mean, George Washington, he told the truth, and his father forgave him because he told the truth. And his Ricky Fulton's dad's like, yeah, but George Washington's dad wasn't in the cherry tree when he cut it down. I was like, I remember that. I used to watch the Static taking hot knives. Wow, there you go. I never did that. When I was a kid, we had Static and the channels went off, not since 1980 though. National anthem as well, possibly. It might have played the national anthem. Well, God Save the Queen, crush those rebellious Scots, which we were, never saw the point in hot knives. I remember doing that, just burnt your lips. Washington used ganja, facts. Half the world does now. Yeah, yes. I think it's still frowned upon though. Although you can get it legally now, sort of. You can get it on prescription. I mean, I don't know, TV was meant. I remember, I don't know. TV was different. I remember getting the first video and actually freaking recording shit, and it was like having videos. It's mental. See if lockdown had happened. See when lockdown happened here. What was that? 3 years ago? 3 years ago. I was all right because I had the internet, which meant I had in to watch I wanted, and I kind of got a bit older, so I wasn't hanging about with my pals. But see if that had been 10 years previous or 15 years previous, that would have been a fucking nightmare. but just sitting in the house. Because all the videos that I had when I used to be, and I didn't have very many bought videos because they were expensive. So the videos I had would be, I had Red Dwarf and Faulty Towers and shit like that I taped physically off the telly myself, and films that I taped off the telly myself. But that was it. And it's like, it would be a bit of an event, actually having Star Wars and shit like that. So I'd watch these things all the time, but that was the only thing you could watch, because if it was midnight, there was nothing on TV. Oh, got some right now called Wonka bars for illegal. Oh. There you go. Get your golden ticket. I don't know, but it must have been horrendous. See, if you were like 16, 17, 18 and the lockdown happened, that must have been a fucking nightmare. Because I used to just hang about with my pals all the time, play guitars, listen to records and shit all the time. Every night of the week, we'd all be around at my pal Robert's house, just like, not necessarily smoking weed or anything like that, just basically just hanging out, because it was, I never, or by that point, when I was dating with mum and dad, I'd converted the attic when I was like 11 or something like that, like myself. It was really badly done, but I converted the attic to have walls and shit, and I stayed up there. So I had a kind of living room of my own, basically a bit like this. And I just lived up there. So I never had this watching TV shit. Like, see, folk used to watch the Sweeney and all these other things. Oh, we've got violence coming up with those two spiders. Oh. They're big spiders for here. Oh. He said, video last night at the proms, I would overdub Motorhead albums on at the tape. I don't remember that. Oh, Weir's Way. I always loved Weir's Way. I don't know, when the fuck was that filmed? When did I must have watched that in the 90s. I used to work in the co-op on the back shift, so I started work at 8 o'clock at night and then finished at like midnight or something like that, and then I'd come back and I'd watch telly. And I used to watch the X Games on Channel 4. I think that might have been the only channel it was on. Or maybe BBC 2 maybe had the Open University shit from the 70s. But the X Games, I got right into the X Games, and the thing that really got me was skateboarding was sort of all right. The BMXing was, I really enjoyed watching the BMXing, and the rollerblading was pure shite, because it's like the whole idea about, like, they're up doing a flare. That was a move. And you see him do that, and you'd be watching the X Games. Oh, this is quite exciting. And it's like the whole idea about like a bike, the possibility of landing in that and really injuring yourself. I thought, fucking, that's terrifying. So I watch it because for the terror factor. But then you would get like skateboarding, which was quite scary, being on a bike. But then you get the rollerblading, and you're like, yeah, fucking. It was just, that's it. Oh, here's a trick, and it was like, that's not impressive. Whereas going up there and kicking a bike around 360 degrees, doing a backflip and landing on it, was like, that was super impressive. Oh. The upside of the lockdown, though, is I didn't have to do exams. They literally had the teachers guess what we would have got. Really? Wow. I don't know. Exams never really bothered me. I didn't do fucking any studying for any of them anyway. Fuck it. I didn't study for an exam until I did 6-year studies physics, 6-year studies maths, and I don't think I passed it, or I got a C. I didn't fucking study. Didn't do any homework, anything like that. I just winged it all the time. But I've been a little bit weird. I could get away with it. Gave me some homegrown at the bus stop. No need for, because this is totally out in the open. Wow. 3 cheers for Tom Weir was fucking. It was great. The thing was that I remember, even though it was, I kind of remember folk dressing like that. Maybe when I was a kid, and it's like climbing mountains and all that shit was great. Oh, Tom Weir. But I mean, yes, I mean, my pal Mo went up. I remember we saw it on. It was in just behind in Tillicootree near Stirling. There's a walk, like an old Victorian walkway that goes up a burn. Just if you basically go to Tillicootree, you'll find it. And there's a quarry next to it. I remember me and my pal went up there, and it was like pure because we were Tom Weir fans. It was fucking great. Oh, I didn't study either. That's why I was so bad. There you go. I don't know, but that's where it comes in a bit different as well. Like, see, that Jen and Sapia, how can you play the guitar? Like, Jen actually asked me when the first time we were down But she painted that first guitar. Oh, I didn't know you played the guitar. What? Bizarre, isn't it? And it's like, well, but I've got hundreds of them. You don't think I played the guitar? Actually, quite embarrassing actually when she's up here. Oh, you're pure brilliant at guitar. It's like, stop! Don't like praise. Does Billy Connolly have a specific Scottish accent, or does he just have a unique way of speaking? He's got a way of speaking. If I try to speak very clearly, which I do sometimes, I've kind of developed a little bit, partly through the YouTube thing, and when I went out with Civet, my ex, trying to speak clearly so that at least I was pronouncing all the words correctly. Billy Connolly's kind of got that, so he's managed to keep some element of the Scottish accent, but overemphasizing every single consonant and vowel so that there's more chance that people from America and stuff will actually understand what we're saying, which I have. I mean, a lot of my pals, I don't think you would understand what they say. I've never been. I've always had two voices. There was always the voice that I would use to talk to my mum and dad or somebody important, teachers, etc. Where you would, and then when you talk to your pals, fuck I over there, they're bang, fucking that. Whereas I know a lot of people that only have the difficult to understand one, which to be honest, I struggle with sometimes. But it's always good to be able to switch between the two. Also, the ability to not swear, which I think, to be honest, I've lost in the last 20 years. I mean, obviously, I never swore in front of my mum, dad, grandparents, anything like that in school, in front of teachers. I never swore. The swearing only came when I was talking to my friends. It was like two languages you had, the one you're meant to use, and then the cool one. So it's just being able to distinguish between the two is very important. But Billy Connolly does have a very different. He doesn't have a Glasgow accent anymore. It's modified, which I understand. You naturally modify to where you are, and it's like you find that. I used to find it very much. I used to laugh at my dad because he was working. He worked as a site manager, on building contracts. So we're in Glasgow, but sometimes he would be working in Dundee for 6 months and commuting, and they would be full of it, because it would just be basically all day talking to people from Fife. So you'd end up with a Fife accent, which I get. I mean, the thing is, I find myself switching it. I don't mean it insultingly. If, like, Taylor, who's gone to bed now, when I'm talking to him, he's full of the Shire accent. I kind of switch into it because naturally you want to be part of it. So if I'm talking to people from certain areas like that, because I've done it before and I've worked there, you end up modifying completely subconsciously the way you're speaking to fit in with where it is you're working, and it sticks out. Because I remember Dad's up here working in Fife just now, aren't you, Dad? And he's like, up here, aye, how, Ken? Up here, it comes in. I spent my life in London, lost that Ouija twang in the 80s. I think, I don't know, there must be a point where if you keep it, I bet you the people in London still think you sound Glaswegian. Not even. It's been so long since I get problems with the accent. I used to get it all the time on YouTube. Basically ignorant people just going, "I can't understand anything you're saying. I can't understand anything you're saying." And you're like, part of that's a sort of initial. There's an initial reaction to somebody speaking, especially if you're from the south of England or America. You hear me, and I'm really deep, so it sounds aggressive. I'm not aggressive. More so if it was somebody who hadn't put a conscious effort in to try and speak clearly. But I noticed that Wayne, my pal Wayne, we're down at Download, and he'd one of his daughters, kind of probably the same age as me, like 30s or something like that, was there on one day, and another daughter was there another day, and one of them's up here, "Yeah, I totally don't understand anything you're saying." And I was like, up here, "You'll get used to it in a minute." And she's like, "Oh, I don't think, what?" And then an hour later, that initial, oh my God, this guy's talking crazy, it's really deep, became, no, I understand everything. So chatting away, no problem at all. I don't think she ever didn't understand anything I said, but that the initial impact is like pure. I remember getting that going to the Canterbury Festival, which is down in Kent. They speak very fast as well in Kent, but here, really high up. But so you go into the shop and you go up here, yeah, can I get 20p each? And they would go, because it would be an initial pure, oh my God, I don't know what he said. No, hold on, I did. I caught all of that. It's just, it's very, very deep. Yeah, totally. And everyone was lovely. Kind of bizarre. The Shire accent. The Shire is Kilmarnock, Ayr down there. So I'm in. Here's your map of Scotland: Glasgow, Edinburgh, the sea. Glasgow, Edinburgh. If you go, what did I say? Glasgow here. This is kind of confusing because I'm doing it backwards. So Glasgow's here. Glasgow's kind of like this, accent-wise. But once you go down from Glasgow, you get to the Shire, which is Ayr, and they talk high-pitched and say, hey, at the end of everything. But from Glasgow, if you go over here, once you get to Stirling, which is only 15, 20 minutes in the drive, they start talking high. And then you get to Edinburgh and they're all English, so it doesn't matter. But you go up and it's like, it's kind of bizarre. It's a strange. I mean, I know there's different American accents, right? But I mean, all of Scotland fits in any one of your states. But it's like the difference is bizarre. I mean, like the Glasgow accent, right, from here to Eyes for You, who's in Dunoon, which is, let's say, 20 miles in that direction and across the Clyde. So you have to get a ferry to get to Dunoon. They sound exactly the same as me. But if I go 10 minutes in that direction, I get to Kilsyth and they start sounding like they're from Stirling, where they start talking like that. And everything they say ends up here. And it's like, I can't really go into that accent easily. But if I'm talking to someone from Stirling, after a couple of minutes, I find myself talking a bit like that and all, where you end everything with an whereas you can say Ken at the end. Ken means, you know. So it's like, we go up here, yes. Or man at the end of every sentence, up here, I went to the bus stop, you know, which doesn't mean anything. It's like, I went to the bus stop, Ken. Like, what are you doing, Ken? And it's bizarre. Ace Lone Ranger, how's it going? We had a girl. No, we didn't have a girl on another one. You're still the female contingent. That's it. Yeah, Andy. The thing is, I don't remember you specifically, Andy, having a particularly shirey accent, but you fucking only live 20 miles away. How can you have a different accent from someone that lives 20 miles away? They're there. You just get used to it. Oh, I don't know the Lone Ranger. I've never heard of talk. Not really. Contact. I'm from Edinburgh. Lived in Glasgow. Now I'm in Ayrshire. Straight accent is nothing. I bet you it's not nothing though. I bet you it depends where you're from. But I think there's an element of it's just it's a strange. Your instant reaction is very different. I mean, I get that from a lot of English people. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm going to say I grew up pretty much free of racism. But at download, you do get English people that are racist. And it's like actually receiving racism is like pure, really? It's almost a shock. It's almost a shock to racism when you're like, oh my God, racism? Really? Like, towards me? But I mean, wow. It's kind of bizarre. I don't know. I don't understand it. Irish Jew have different accents 5 miles away. I know that. I mean, it's like the thing as well. I used to like a girl who was from Northern Ireland, and no, she's from Northern Ireland, and it's like it's great fun. What now? Again, because not that we were taking the piss, but I can kind of slip in a Northern Ireland accent as well. Not so much other Ireland, but Northern Ireland's very. You're looking at it, it's like I can't. I mean, obviously that's insulting and not right. Northern Ireland, aye. So, but it's like I've got no problem at all understanding what someone from Northern Ireland's saying. There is a little bit of a recoil going. All right, no, I get that. because you hear it's like the same as when you're talking to a Scottish person. See, I even said Scottish, not Scottish. We tend to miss out T's, so it'd be Scottish, not Scottish. Whereas talking, if you're putting a little bit of an effort into it, mind you, in saying that at download when I was talking to Wayne's daughters, I was mangled with the booze. But it was one of them was totally fine, didn't have any problem. The other one was like pure, oh my god, I can't do the accent. But even my it depends how strong your accent is. My Washburn Falcon, which I got, the guy refused to post it, but he was quite close to my pal Wayne. This is before I knew my pal Wayne, who's from Leicester. And I'd never had any problem. He talks high and stuff like he doesn't use his words I don't use, but no problem understanding him. I don't think he ever really had any problem understanding me. But this guy he's like, yes. So I phoned this guy in Leicester and I was like, hi, I'm interested in the Washburn Falcon you've got for sale. I don't understand you at all. And so basically we had to use Wayne as an intermediary between us because I couldn't understand what he was saying. And he couldn't understand. It was bizarre. It was like almost two complete different languages from like the sort of the broad Leicester accent and me. He didn't understand. I couldn't understand what he was saying. And both of us could talk to Wayne, and Wayne was fine with both of us. You just get used to it. It's bizarre. It's funny, I was in Victoria and people could tell us from South Australia. I suppose it kind of depends on where you're from. I mean, for me, I would never have any problem understanding what an Edinburgh person was saying, ever. They kind of just sound a little bit posher Glasgow sort of thing. But once you get to the kingdom, and I know, I mean, who's from, you're in the Shire. Is there a huge difference between the accent from the Shire than the one from Aberdeen? Because to me, they both sound very similar, even though that can't happen because Glasgow's here. You go south, you get the Shire, and you go north and you get Aberdeen, northeast, it's the other coast. How come they both say Ken and kind of end their sentences going up, eh? Is that just me? Because I'm in Glasgow? I don't know, it's mental. I was under the impression that the Aussie accent was the same everywhere. I don't know, but yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I'm sure when it comes down to American accents, obviously the Texas drawl I could probably pick up on, but I probably couldn't pick up on the difference between someone from like, New York and Boston, even though they're hundreds of miles apart. And anyone from New York goes, "Oh, you're from Boston." I probably couldn't distinct between the two, but it kind of depends. Oh, Dundee, the video you did last week was in a street I used for an Englishman abroad. Really? So it was covered in Russian graffiti. Cairtog doubled as a building in Moscow. Didn't know that, yeah. Fife and Ayrshire have similar accent, Aberdeen its own zone. Yes. I would think so, probably. Hoyk accent, Stevie Zero. I was in a band with Jesse Ray. He's from Hoyk. Shields. And I was talking to someone at this earlier on, and I would talk. Well, obviously, I was in a band with Jesse, me, two of my pals from Kirky. We're in a band, and Jesse Ray wears a metal Scots battle helmet with like leather bits on it every time I've ever seen him. And he's got the full-blown super Hoyk accent. So he would literally talk to you and he would be like, and see, because you could only see his mouth and his eyes because he had a metal helmet on. It sounds mental, but it's true. Even though I was in a band and we did 10 plus gigs with him, we would, after he'd said, I'll be honest, after it, we would be like, right, he's got to the toilet. Like, what did he say? What the fuck is he talking about? Trying to work out what it was he said. I mean, he only lives 50 miles away. Mental. Oh. It's weird out back Queenslander to Western Australia, offside difference. Yes, but you do get like a strong accent. Like, see, like you listen to Aussie talking. Okay, he's drunk, but you know what I mean? Like a really, really strong Birmingham accent when you get like the pure scum of Birmingham. I struggle. But a relatively well-spoken Brummie, no problem at all. Same with Glasgow. I mean, there's folk in Glasgow that I can talk to, and it's like, you've got to. It depends, I suppose, in the situations you're in. I went to quite a posh school, relatively classy, so I do have the ability to sort of speak a little bit clearer. I've got the ability to. If someone is struggling to understand me, I will speak a little bit clearer. I'll slow down a little bit. I'll lose some of my accent, not much. I mean, I'm not going to say that I don't have a Glasgow accent anyway, but I do have the ability to sort of switch into one which hopefully, by being a little bit slower and over pronunciating some words so that it makes sense. This is my, like, everyone must have had this. Your mum's phone voice, where she would talk to you, be like, blah, 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 and then, hello, yes. When she answered the phone, it would be an entirely different accent, that kind of thing. Confirming, aye. Boston and NYC is tough for outsiders, even in the USA. Yes, the Aberdonian. Yes, I used to. My pal was his name was Eddie McLeod, and that was always when we were 16, first getting into hanging about and talking to the Stones. Hey, you get off of my cloud. I got you. Tasmania. They tell you not to tell the mainland how beautiful Tassie is. if I'm sleep deprived, my Boston Brooklyn accent comes to the fore. As far as accents in Tasmania, I couldn't tell any difference. I don't know. It does depend, though. It depends who you're talking to. I mean, it's not a conscious decision to change the way you speak, and it's not in any way taking the piss. So if, like, when I'm talking to like Taylor or something who's from the Shire, I got my best ever text message of him, and I can't remember. He was talking about someone he'd bought a guitar off him, or someone had tried to buy a guitar off him and didn't turn up and made some crap excuse. And my text message was, "Oh, what a dick!" And Taylor's reply was, "I, a hoachin wank of a cunt, Ken." This is in a text message. There's like that pair, "I," which means yes, a hoachin wank of a cunt, which I don't even. Yeah, Ken mean So it was like, I coach, and I thought that was just fantastic. So when I'm talking to Taylor, because I've worked down there, I've worked with people like I talk slightly different when I'm talking to Taylor. And I think he probably does the same when he's talking to me. If he's down there talking to other folk from Kelly, he'll use his full, but when he's talking to someone from Glasgow, he'll tone it down a little bit and be a little bit more sensible, because you want to be. Great fun. I'm sure I could get. It's one of those things. It depends on what you're used to. I mean, I don't know anything about Tasmania. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Did you buy the basking shark? BASQUING. Cheers. Yes, this is by drinking Buckfast on a Sunday night and talking shit, pish, rubbish. Kind of quite a low, what's the word? Low intelligence chat. Yes. Whale oil beef hooked. Yes, Varies. Yes. I know the one. No, but I want one. Well, I'll make you one if you want. Well, go through JPEGs to get one. I can wire up a normal guitar that isn't painted like that. No problem. During radio interviews mid-80s, I always had to repeat myself, so I enunciated. That's the word I mean. And it went away. Yes. But I bet you can slip back into your normal view. See, it's kind of bizarre because I'm just now not having any feedback language-wise from you lot. I know that the folk that are on just now are from all over the world. You speak English, and so do I, sort of. But it changes if I had somebody from Aberdeen or from Dundee. Yeah, I could switch into it. Pish is a great word. Pish is brilliant. Yes, better than piss. Piss doesn't sound right. Interesting caves down south on that Mapatassi. I don't know what that means. I know whale oil booth hooked. That was on. I remember that from 90 I can't even remember the name. There used to be a radio station called Rock Radio, which I used to listen to when I was at work, working with my dad, and it was hilarious. And he would always say whale oil beef hooked, and they had fake adverts they would put on, and one of them was Dickens cider. Yeah, it's just cider branded Dickens. That's fine. So obviously the advert was like, pure, yes, this is the vicar's wife, and she loves a Dickens cider. Basically the same joke. Rock Radio, that's going back a bit. I know. I actually found a sticker. That's why I remembered it. I remember that there's a guy called Father Ted on that who I've never actually met. That he was funny as fuck, and he used to do the helicopter traffic news, and he would basically just have a tape noise of a helicopter, and he would just go, "Yeah, I'm up in a helicopter just now." And he would just be talking utter shit, and it was fucking hilarious. I wonder whatever happened to him. I assume he's still doing something. The Ted Rock Show or something. I don't know. South of that Bapatasi. I'm not getting that one. I know I've drank too much Scotch when I start developing a bad Scottish accent. See, the thing is, you've given it away that you're definitely not from Scotland, because Scotch is... We get Scotch tape and Scotch eggs. That's it. Scotch is not a drink, it's whiskey. And it's spelt correctly with no E in it. You don't, if you came up here, they would know what it was. Can I get a bottle of Scotch? The person behind the counter is going to go, yeah, okay, here's a bottle of whiskey. It's not Scotch. No, Scott, Scotch. Some riffs. I'm playing a bass. Running about 3 a.m. Loaded. Nothing running around. Loaded. In a neon line. That's when living after midnight. Nothing after dawn. So no, I don't know how to... Never played that song on the bass before in my life. Play the guitar though. I'm married to a whiskey writer. Never call it Scotch's presidency will bore you for 20 minutes. A whiskey writer? One of my pals, Andy, works in, or used to work in the whiskey shop in Glasgow, and then he now works in the whiskey warehouse. So I know how boring whiskey is. It's not, but a Macallan 12-year-old, and he'll be able to... He must have been a really... I think he really enjoyed working in that whiskey shop. He actually sold a bottle of whiskey to... He said he was talking to him for about 20 minutes, explaining where all these whiskies came from. And the whole time he was going, I know you. And then when he got the check, or when he got the thing signed, the guy left the shop, was like, Carl Weathers, bastards! It was Carl Weathers, who was in the whiskey shop in Glasgow, and Andy talked to him for 20 minutes, the whole time going, I know who you are. And it wasn't until after he never thought. So he did actually, I think he took a photocopy of the receipt that gets signed, goes, look, I've got Carl Weathers' autograph, sort of. Yeah. Scots is the people, Scotch is a drink. Got an £800 bottle, don't drink. Well, you can not use it for cleaning guitars or running the car. Yeah. Scots is the people. Yeah. Scotch is just, it's a word that we don't use, basically. Apart, you get Scotch eggs, and you get Scotch, the brand that used to make cassettes and videotapes. But it's not a word. Scotch isn't really a word here. It would just be Scottish. We get blended Scotch whiskey. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh. Re-record. Oh my God, you're old, Sloan Ranger. Because I remember that and it was a skeleton. Like, was it CGI? It can't have been CGI back then. Was it just an animation? Re-record, not fade away. Re-record. Yes, I remember the adverts. So you're as old as me is basically the answer to that. Yeah. Macallan whiskey used to be good. Now everyone does a sherry cask finish. The 25-year-old is well worth the money. I'm not a big whiskey fan. Yeah, well, as I was talking earlier on, Sloan Ranger, about the fact that I didn't really watch TV when I was a kid. So maybe you were younger when that advert was on. So I maybe didn't see that until I was 10 or something. But I definitely remember the advert. I'm not a huge whiskey fan. I have drank some incredibly expensive whiskey though. When I went a stag weekend to Amsterdam, and my pal Andy was there, and he'd been doing a tasting thing where they had like a barrel from the whiskey shop. It's just called the whiskey shop, and in a wee like a wee, is that a vial you would call it, like a shot in a bottle thing, like an unlabeled bottle. There's that period he gave all 10 of us or something like that, one of these each. And I'll drink this before we go on the thing, and it was 18 grand a bottle. This whiskey. So we're like, this is 11 o'clock in the morning before getting to the plane. So I have had a half of 18 grand a bottle whiskey. That was nice, but I mean, yeah, whiskey. But my first ever carry out was 2 bottles of diamond white cider, like beer bottles, and a quarter bottle of famous grouse. And obviously, I don't think I was sick, but I wasn't particularly well after it. And ever since then, whiskey's always had a slight thing with me where I've got to be aware that it's whiskey. Because basically, if I'm drunk or whatever, it's I'll be drinking this, it's beer home. There's a moment where my whole body goes lump and everything becomes total clarity. And it's as if my body's going, Darko, be careful. You sure you know what you're doing? Okay, you've only had one wee drink, right? But danger ahead, be careful. And then being drunk again, but it's like that. It's like a total instant motion whenever I have anything that's whiskey because of that first time I ever got drunk, which was on whiskey. So I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm bad into nicotine's bad for me as well. But I do struggle with any alcohol with the falling asleep thing. I couldn't drink beers. I'd probably be all right in whiskey, maybe. I don't know. I'm just used to this. This has got more caffeine in it than Red Bull, so it's got a boost thing. So I can drink a bottle of that. I mean, one time I tried to do a live stream on a bottle of red wine, and after an hour, I was just falling asleep because I'm too used to the caffeine and the booze at the same time. I need it. Scotsmack. I've never tried it, but I've heard of it. It comes in what looks like a whiskey bottle, and it's about 15%. Ah, I was a publican for 17 years. I rarely get drunk because I sit and do the maths on every drink. I don't know. What's a publican? Someone who works in a pub, possibly. Yeah. I don't know. Keith, Ozzy, and Iggy, all teetotalers. Not Keith Moon, not Ozzy Osbourne, and probably not Iggy Pop. I don't know. I smoked for a week when I was younger and honestly get bored of it. I do like the whiskey though. Tried Bucky, didn't like it, but I heard it's made different here. None of the three ever touched a drop. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would worry about it if I had a problem with it. I don't. I mean, it's the thing is, if you gave me 3 bottles of Bucky, that would be I would drink them on the next 3 live streams, or if I was going to a gig or something. But I wouldn't. I never sit and drink them all. A publican is someone who owns a pub. I guessed that. I'm not a pub fan. I think I'm just too much of a cheap bastard. And maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's the sort of people that go to pubs don't really. Do you have any field trips, Vuries? How do you put Vuries? That's quite a cool name. And you're also an earth-shattering kaboom, Marvin the Martian. Do you have any field trips coming up? Actually, tomorrow. Oh shit! Tomorrow I'm going to the Shire, where everyone talks funny. Saltcoats. With Jen, J-Packs and the Two Harrys road trip. So I'll fucking film it just for a laugh. It's always funny. Looked up, there's less alcohol and less flavourings in the one here. I take it you're in Ireland. I heard otherwise. I've never tried Irish Bucky. I know that it's got an extra label on here, like a champagne bottle does. But apparently it's got more. It's in a brown bottle instead of green, and it's got more alcohol in it and more caffeine. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe. I knew there was a different bottle. I didn't realize it was a different. I need to try it. Oh. Nicotine can be absorbed through the skin. 72 milligrams or 100 freebase can easily kill. Oh, I don't know anything about. Oh, Al Murray. I've met him. Oh God, I see. The thing was, I was at a thing. It was a thing in the BBC in Glasgow called the Live Floor Show, which two of my pals worked on, which is like a sort of comedy show thing. Actually, I was sitting basically. I'm sitting here. That's the stage. That's Robert Plant's foot. But he played like 3 songs, and it was Al the pub landlord was there, and so was Darryl O'Brien. You know, the guy who did the Irish guy who's kind of bald as well. And we were at the last night when that was recorded, and there was an after show party we went to where it was a free bar, first free bar I've ever been to. Fucking ridiculous. And honestly, I was so drunk, I don't remember which one it was, but it was definitely either the pub landlord. I think it was Darryl O'Brien, to be honest, because they're both kind of tall and bald. And we're standing waiting in the queue, and he turned around with a tray of drinks, zoomed right into me, and it just went all over him. And I was like, oh, sorry, man. And he went, well, I'll be going in front of you in the queue again. So he went back and got another tray of drinks, and then I let him past. So I've met one of them. Saltcoat, so you often see the women selling the twin neck guitars. We are, yes. Yes. It's actually a guy called Brian who I've met before, but he doesn't have a Facebook account, so he uses his wife's. They've got an Ibanez RG copy, kind of like that, for 50 quid. So we're going to go down and look at that. But he does have a lot of stuff. The guy's honestly, his guitar collection is ridiculous. See, he's got a special room in his house that's quite long. But see the racking you get in the back of a supermarket where you keep pallets of shit, pallets of cornflakes and drinks and stuff. He's got that, right? And it's absolutely rammed with hard cases of guitars. He must have 200 or 300 guitars in hard cases, and it's just like a bit of masking tape with 65 Strat written on it and shit like that. I mean, I've seen bits of it. He's also got one of the guitars that was sitting out was a 5 neck. You know, the Bill Bailey one that's got 5 necks, like that size. One of them sitting there and stuff like that. He's a little bit of a weirdie. So it's going to be fun anyway, especially when I go with Scott and Jen, because we're all a bit mad. That'll be hilarious. I'm going to film it. Fuck it. I'm going to put the GoPro on my head. Actually, it might be really exciting. I'll not let on where he lives, so it doesn't really matter if he's showing off his guitars. I've been tolling Lucy's for 30 years now. Filters fiberglass give me a sore throat. Okay, Roland looks at him. Oh. I can't fags without a filter's pure death. I can't do it. But I mean, it must be a couple of years now I haven't moved on to the rollers because fags are so fucking expensive. I mean, especially when you get to when I gave up smoking weed, it was like, smoking 20 a day, and it's like I don't even know how much 20 fags cost now. It must be more than a tenner. I was buying the cheap B&H Blue, and I think it was £9.60 or something. That was 2 or 3 years ago. I bet you they're now £12 or something. Fuck that. At least Rollies, but you need the filters on them, otherwise it just pure clogs you up. Buckfast drinking started in Lanarkshire. Paul, I know that there's a Bucky Triangle, which I've never heard of, which I think is down there somewhere. It's like Ayr and something, where most of it's sold. I'm assuming that Buckfast started in Devon, where they make it. I don't know. Catch you later, Andy. I'll use a buzz during the week. I've still got your guitar sitting there. I keep seeing it and not doing it. I will do it. Your Faith acoustic. It's quite good the way you gave me a Faith acoustic with Faith written on the bag, so I know what it is. Doesn't mean I've done it. Okay, fucking still got a backlog. It's great. This whole year, I've literally not been any time when I've actually managed to clear the backlog of guitars to do. Not complaining. Lanarkshire. Shire, as opposed to Shire. Lanarkshire. Bet you don't pronounce it the way it's spelt, eh? Pretty much. Lanarkshire. Lanarkshire. That's it. Oh, Stevie Zero, what did you just say that was too much beyond the point? Right, have I finished my bucket yet? Oh, I'm not finished yet. I'm fucked. Yeah, you retract your super racist comments or whatever it was you just said. Something really dodgy, obviously. Back, sorry, PC crashed. My PC, I won't give my PC didn't crash. I took a Telecaster off the wall because Kit Kats, who didn't come back, was like, it's great. It's not seeing any tellies on your wall, so I fucking took the telly off the wall there and pulled the. I know I've got half hour. Scott, I'm tired. I'm tired. I need to roll another fag. Okay, I'll roll another fag right now. But that's going to make my. Scott, I don't remember signing a contract that I was going to be on till midnight. Really, I don't. But whatever. We're talking about you as well. We're going to. The Bucky Triangle needs a coastline, so billionaires super yachts can pack up and taste the culture. Star jobs. £12 for 20. Yeah, but that just adds up. Pure ridiculous. I think there's an element of, obviously when I gave up smoking weed, it's like an element of the actual rolling of it is part of it, which I kind of get. I need to start drinking tea. Scott keeps trying to get me into tea. I'm not really that. I don't really like the taste of tea. I like it up at his house to try and sober up, but I don't know. They're much better than those fucking energy drinks I keep drinking. I'm not doing fucking star jumps. That's just insane. But I think maybe part you kind of get used to it, the whole coming in from work, rolling a joint, sitting. You know, it's all part of the thing. It's just all that. The same thing with records. You know, records have a sort of a certain charm because it's not just a case of pressing play on the Spotify or whatever. It's getting the record out, taking it out the sleeve, looking at the cover, making sure there's no dust on it, putting it on, turning it on, sitting down, 20 minutes later having to either take the record off and put something else on or turn it over. It's like there's a sort of a routine in these things. Coatbridge, Airdrie and Blantyre, possibly. I know where Coatbridge. I don't know. I'm not sure where Blantyre is. Obviously, I recognise it. I couldn't take you to there. Yes, I could. Cause just driving the road until I saw a sign that said Blantyre. The Roadstar. Well, we're talking about guitars, really, Pontiac? Okay, yep. The Roadstar pickguard shape changed late 80s with the pointy headstock. Looks that way. The Korean ones. I don't think so. Is that one there? Is that not? Is it not the actual shape of the guitar changed? Like that one. I think there might be a slightly later one than that. But there's definitely, because I know Mr. White, who's gone to bed because he's a big poof and couldn't drink 13 beers and stay awake. He had one of them that had like the more modern RG headstock, which was just that model. I don't really know. Need a turntable. There's no excuse for not having a turntable. Well, I don't know. Even maybe now. The thing is, like, see, when I was buying stereos, I used to, when I was started like uni and stuff like that, when I was like 17, 18, whatever it was, I would always had record players and stereos, and I would buy them in charity shops and in the bars and shit for like 20 quid for like an amp, separates. And then a year later, it would break, or I'd just get a new. I'd just throw the old one away. Now, I was looking for a CD player because the one I've got, I needed to fix the back. I could pick up a CD player for 20 quid. No, they're for 100. What? It's like, where did that happen? When did stereo start becoming desirable and expensive? I must have thrown away £1,000 worth of stereo equipment like over 10 years without really realizing it'd eventually be worth something. So no, it's not super easy. Are you going to film the next Sabbath gig? I'll try. The thing is, I don't want to compromise the actual gig in any way. And I've kind of learned, like that last one we did, the one at Wolstonbury, it's like, oh, I'll give it to somebody and they can put it on their head. Just basically turn this on and then just forget about it and just watch the gig. And then after one song, it was like, off, pressing the buttons, where's the Zoom? And you're just like, basically, so we got maybe 15 minutes of an hour video of like, sort of, I think we got one whole song and then like 2 minutes and then 30 seconds and then 3 minutes and then looking at the ground. And it's just like, so if any, I assume anybody I can sort of respect, basically, I'll give you the GoPro to film it. Just maybe sit it in the corner and don't touch it, rather than going, oh, where's the zoom? Turn it off and on and filming me. Just fucking just turn it on and leave it on. The thing runs for 2 hours, so it can get our set. So I'll try. Basically, is what I'll try and film it, but I don't know. Your best bet's to come. If the screen is cracked, oh, there you go. The curve at the top of the pickguard, later ones have a scoop downwards, possibly. I don't know. I don't know much about later on Roadsters. I don't think Roadsters lasted that long, because 1987 was when the RG came out. The Steve Vai Gem. I think Roadsters maybe lasted another year, or they still made them in 97 and 87, but I think by 88 they were maybe kind of gone. Possibly, I don't know. Need a tape deck. Wow, I've got a couple of tape decks. I remember buying a tape deck when tape decks were still a thing. I've got the most amazing tape deck there, but I need to replace the belts in it. It still plays fine. The tape deck I've got here's got a fucking drawer. That's how cool it is. And it's got two big V. It's only there because it looks cool as fuck. In fact, actually, does it even play if I just turn it on? Where's tape? I've not even. Where's tape monitor? That's a slow song, but is it Klaus Wonder? What's the guy's name again? This is the tape that was out when I got a uncle. Klaus W something 1384. It's super cheesy. That's a slow one, but it's like Hammond organ music, and I really like it. I'll put the other side on. Be a good song. That's the same side. Maybe the other side's rocking. There's definitely rocking songs on it, though, I'm sure of it. When I say rocking, I mean a bit more up tempo. Fucking great. The thing looks great, but the belts for fast forwarding and rewinding don't work. So I've basically just got. I've never tried anything else with it, but yeah, tapes are cool. Treated myself to a Japanese strap maple off yellow with Seymour Duncan. Sounds it. My favourite buy was a Technic CD changer I got on eBay for 99p. 111? That'd be going back a bit. I had some crazy shit as well. I used to have a multi-changer, CD multi-changer. I used to have I'm really annoyed. An amp I had before I knew what switch cleaner was. I used to have it was an Akai amp, and this is going back to when I was told that you needed a surround sound receiver to play, Dolby 5.1, but my DVD player had phono outs on it, so I used to run the phono outs. I had it running basically 3 amps, so I had one that did the center speaker, the subwoofer. The subwoofer was my fucking big Marshall bass amp, and I had 2 amps, and the one that did the rear thing had a black and white CRT TV in it, and it was fucking cool as fuck. But the volume slider was really crackly, and I just fucking threw it away like a knob. I bet you it's worth hundreds of pounds now. I've still got, see this TV. It's sitting on. Oh, that's a DVD video combo, a Pioneer amp, a Denon amp, a CD recorder, and a Yamaha Natural Sound surround sound receiver. And it's basically there for something to put this monitor on. So I've got fucking good shit, I just don't use it anymore. Unstrupple, what year? It says 84. Use your phone or iPad. It's different. It's not the same. It's like I've got my computer running through the same amp. The difference between what you get off YouTube or films or anything like that and a record it's like taking a pillow off your head. It's ridiculously good. I have a Pioneer CD player. It's a 3-disc changer on one side and a recordable CD slot on the other. The damn thing was only relevant for 3 months. That was Klaus Wunderlich pressing the home accompaniment organs on his home organ. Possibly was, but it's really good. It's like it's like bam 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 bam. Hey, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. It's really silly. I've been using my phone to record some music onto for ages. It's good if you have a decent mic. I don't know. It's like one of those things that it depends what you're used to. I mean, see, I genuinely think. I mean, I've got like a Technics Mash CD player, which was an expensive one in its day. Records sound a lot better than CDs, and CDs sound fuckloads better than any of your Bluetooth Spotify crap. It's like yeah, the Pioneer chips. Nobody has hi-fi. When did hi-fi disappear? It's like this whole idea. It's like maybe I'm a wee bit out of date, but people getting these. Oh, I've got a sound bar, or it's up here. I've got this, this unit. It's up here. Oh, I've got this Bluetooth speaker. Doesn't it sound great? And you listen to it, and genuinely, it is really impressive how good it sounds considering it's that size. Compared to actual speakers, it's nothing. It's utter shite. You need. It is possible, I think, with really. I mean, if the speakers I'm using for my thing, it's only the wee shitty surround sound speakers, JPW mini monitors. I've got fucking proper speakers. I just don't have anywhere to put them. I've got my dad's Celestion Detons, which is about fucking 6 speakers in a unit that sits that size. Actual, not even plywood, proper wood thingies, but we know where to put them in here. What difference decent sound makes? It's unbelievable. Because even when I joined the Sabbath band, and I had the amp set up with decent speakers because obviously I'm not accepting. You can't even call it speakers. It's in a TV these days. It's nothing. It's just utter crap. What you get out of even a soundbar, utter crap compared to actual speakers. But the difference when I was listening to the Sabbath songs because we were doing it next week. Oh, okay, that's fine. It's enough to hear it, but the difference between that and records is just that. It's entirely different. It's so different, and it's like the digital thing. I fell for the Super Audio CD. So I had a 5.1. In fact, it's still there. It's a Yamaha 5.1 sound system. I've got a Super Audio CD player, the one that actually plays Super Audio, DTS, and DVD audio, and I've got most of the CDs that I liked that came out in those formats. So I've got the original Tubular Bells, I've got the Quadraphonic Paranoid, I've got $1 Billion Babies, and Welcome to My Nightmare in proper 5.1. I've got in the Lander Green Pink in 5.1. And it's like, whoa, the super audio is as good as records. But it's like not, records and super audio, CD, tape, anything else, your Bluetooth speaker, quality wise, nothing. I'm just wondering how much some people will pay for good stuff now. I don't know. It's bizarre. Reel to reels. I've never gone reel to reel. They're the most expensive format ever. Or as far as I'm concerned, I don't really see the point in it either. I like records are. Again, I was talking there about the 20-minute on a side thing. My attention span appears to be about 20 minutes. I even remember struggling with CDs. When like the Stones albums and stuff, or the Red Hot Chili Peppers Californication, it's 80 minutes. 80 minutes. It's okay for the car, but it's not right for when you're sitting listening to music. You need having that on a double record would be fine, because then you could put on side one, it gets to the end, bored of that, put something else on. Next time you put it on, you put on side two, or you put on side three or side four. It's kind of different. Oh, got hundreds of CDs, the raw 24 tracks, don't have the rolling machine. I know what you said before, but the Oasis Super Audio CD. You would just basically have had a great one. That's probably because the other edition is compressed as far. Yeah. I don't hear, I can't imagine there being any point in listening to Oasis. Really. Might as well listen to it. It's just as good on an AM radio played 200 yards away with only one speaker as it is actually seeing them live. It's fucking terrible. I'm talking about music. Like your real music. Amazing. I've got a compression as the word, though. I agree with the word compression. It changes a huge amount. You get used to it, though. It's like you think. I just assumed because I got older, my ears would get tired, so it didn't sound as good. But when I plugged in this, when I got this record player set up and I plugged it on, it's like, listen, I think the first record I listened to was Sabotage, and it was like, I was literally crying. It was like, oh my God, it's like someone had taken a pillow off my ears. I've heard it before. I've listened to stuff, listening to stuff in the car and watching stuff on YouTube, even though it's through a decent stereo, but it's a different thing. Ah. The first professional CD players, a Satio CD player. Satio I had my first stereo was a Satio. They've all disappeared. Like we used to get MIDI systems. Satio were not from Tandy. Satio and Matsui. Satio were Dixons, and Matsui were Currys, something like that. I had a couple of Satio things. All the modern stuff is bonus. Vinyl, analog, and tubes is the good stuff. Yeah. I don't even class it as a real guitar playing when I'm playing through anything digital. No, there's things where there's things that are acceptable. I mean, see, like my wee Black Star Fly thing, and there's an ID core. They're great. It's great, but that's the same thing as like, see the wee Bluetooth speaker. See if you're in the garden. Yeah, that's great. Look, doesn't it sound good? Yeah, totally. But you can't compare that to a hi-fi. If you're sitting in the house and you're listening to that, you're like, compared to speakers, no, nothing. But I mean, the digital thing, yeah, I totally get it. There's situations, and to be honest, in the car, there's road noise and shit anyway. So it's like, it's not the same. It doesn't really matter. It's 10 to 12 and it's boiling here and the window's open. It's 10. It's fucking, I've drank a bottle of Bucky. Nearly drank a bottle of Bucky, and okay, the window's slightly open, but it's getting super opened, and that door's getting opened. Dixon's, yeah. Remember Dixon's? I remember actually in back in the early days, well, it would be the early days of PC. I remember me and my pal Robert, I must have been 15 or something like that. We went into Dixon's and he had a floppy disk, right? This is a program on it. This is total proper heist shit. It was a golf game, Link's golf game, LIN, something like that. And he had a program that he put into one of the demo PCs in Dixon's in Circuit Hill Street. And he put the disc in, and what the disc did was, and then hit run. What it did was it copied Xcopy or whatever it was, the copy program onto the hard drive of the PC, right? It copied the game, which was on the PC, onto the disc, and then it deleted the Xcopy thing. So basically, we had to go in. I kind of covered for him, pretending I was looking at something else while he put it in and went bam, bang. And then we had to wait like 5 minutes just walking about the shop pretending nothing was happening until it stopped. And then he got it out and he took the disc and then we ran away and he'd actually managed to steal a copy of the golf game off whatever PC it was. There you go. That's how old I fucking am. Oh. And to sell a Roadster, maybe cheap to pay for it. Everything else is its place. Spotify is great for the car, but if you're at home, treat yourself to a bit of quality. It depends what music it is you're listening to. I'm old fashioned in the sense that I like albums. I used to make up tapes, and then later on, because of the CD burner, I used to burn records onto CD for the car. Yeah, I totally get that, but this whole just having it, because I mean, there's tons of shit you would listen to, and there's back in the days of records, there's a reason that this side of this album, Sabotage, for example, or whatever, it's designed to be that. When they were making it, they knew that. Pick up the first record to see. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm actually thoughts of actually reading out the poem on stage before we go on. But, you know, so you get first side, Black Sabbath, The Wizard, Behind the Wall of Sleep, NIB. So you've got Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath on the album Black Sabbath. Brilliant. And then you've got The Wizard being a classic second track. Then you've got a slow, slightly longer one behind the Long and Sweet. And then you end with NIB, bit of a kicking, rocking one. Right. Second side. They're meant to be in that order. You're meant to listen to it in 20. It's designed for that. Just sticking them all on and higgledy pig doesn't make sense. It's meant to be that way. So that's how I want to listen to it. I like albums for that reason. Maybe it's the kind of music I like. There's a reason it's in that order. So just having it on Spotify when it's like, put on this, and then there's always wee bits in the middle. You know, like if you're on Spotify, if you're listening to Symptoms of the Universe, does it have the wee bit at the start? Or is that a wee 30-second song that comes on right now? Don't get it. Many rock bands today mix a digital to a two-stack. Right, well, probably, yeah. Yeah, the newer Zooms, I'd probably just sound as bad as a proper Marshall. Everyone's happy when the wizard walks by. Dun, dun, dun. Just keep walking. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, there you go. Chucky Egg. I'm not that old, Stevie Zero. I know what Chucky Egg is, but lots of whinging about vinyl pressed from a digital file. It used to be a thing. I mean, I remember Black Sabbath, The Eternal Idol was an all digital recording and then stuck on a record. So, I mean, some stuff, there is a point where it, because vinyl became, the reason I've got so many records is because of the exact time that I got into it. So I was in it. I remember the tail end of records being a valid format, and then CDs totally took over. So a lot of things didn't come out on vinyl. Vinyl was for people who hadn't bought a CD player yet. And then, so we're talking about when, about the late 80s, early 90s. And it was pretty rare to actually get new records. And then when it started getting sort of maybe 2000 odd, suddenly vinyl became this thing where people were actually interested because it was better. And it was like, so I was able to buy modern albums like Electric Six and The Darkness, stuff like that actually came out on vinyl as a proper bona fide format. And then it's been here ever since. But I mean, I was there in the process. That's how I've got fucking all the Stones, all the Beatles, all the Deep Purple, all the Led Zeppelin, all the Sabbath, all the AC/DC, all of it. I've got all of them on original vinyls, and very rarely did I pay more than a couple of quid. I think I went up to, for like a Beatles album, I would go to a fiver, or one of the good Stones albums, you know, like Beggar's Banquet, or I'd maybe pay a fiver for that, but everything else was I just bought them because they were cheap. And the thing is, because there was so much shit, there was so much stuff I bought, like just because I liked the look of the cover. It was only 50p. Fuck it. That's how I got Caravan in the Land of Green Pink, and I heard Camel and so much music that I just bought because it was 50 pence. And it's like, oh, fuck it. And fucking now worth hundreds of money. Oh. If I worked at a chain record store, we got the first CDs and they were all classical, probably. Fairies Wear Boots. I never really liked, to be honest, Fairies Wear Boots was not a song that really jumped out at me, and it would never have been on my 20-song Black Sabbath greatest hits tape for the car. It would never have been on it. And then I really liked it when I joined the Black Sabbath band with the original singer. It was kind of, I'm not really a song I really liked, you know, like from. It never really stuck out, but when we got the new singer, Brian, who sounds fucking exactly the same as Ozzy Osbourne, like Ozzy Osbourne on the record, not Ozzy later on when he got shite. You know, we're talking pre-1973 Ozzy Osbourne. He sounds like that. And it suddenly became one of my favourites. Same with Hand of Doom. Amazing, but that's a bit different. HMV stopped selling vinyl around 2005 after I had to get my records in special order from a local shop. Who's laughing at us now? 2005, really? Maybe. No, I think I was buying records. I think I used to write the date on these. This isn't my original Black Sabbath because I bought this one because it's the gatefold with the poem in the inside. So this isn't my original one. I definitely had one before this that I gave to someone. 99, I bought this, £1.50. You know what I mean? You don't, and I got it in the record fair. So I used to write on the inside the records when I bought records. But I mean, what you're going to get a mint copy of Black Sabbath with the inverted crucifix on the inside of the poem for £1.50? No, not now. I actually looked up the guy Tony from the Blitzkrieg shop had Master of Reality in the original box set thing, and he was up here. I'll sell it. I'll give you a really good deal on it. That pair, I've already got it. So that pair, it's 300 quid is what it's worth, and he was willing to sell it for 80. I've got it. I looked back and I looked at it and written in it. I paid £1.25 for it. Yeah. That's about skinheads, the song. We're going to encourage the kid. Sledgehammer was blasted at demo CD. Sounded incredible, so clean and punching. Yeah, I remember being told that CD was a new thing. To be fair, I did buy one of the first CDs I ever bought was AC/DC Ball Breaker. And I think it's still, if you've never heard AC/DC Ball Breaker, that's one of my favourite albums. I don't know whether it's just because I saw the tour, so it was, I don't know, whenever that was, 99 or 98 or something like that. It's really, but it's designed for that. You're not taking an analog thing. It was designed to go on CD. It's fucking great. DJing in 2004, I never really understood DJing. Yeah, I will, Pontiac, I will do the t-shirts. I will, I promise I'll do it. I just need to do it. I need something. Maybe I can get Scott to fucking kick me up the arse. Get me to do it. Annoyingly, I can't actually get to the T-Sharp shop now because they brought in a low emission zone, so I have to walk to it. But I just need to go into that shop and just fucking do it. Couple of £100, do it, buy a shitload of T-shirts. Once I've got, basically not this one, I want one at Mad Malcolm Guitars. I'm going to make that. I'm going to make one. I want the one that says Mad Malcolm Guitars, but like the T-shirt that says Marshall in that text. I need somebody to do the design thing, and there's a couple other ones. I want one that says Steam Team and other abusive things. Sabbath is the best to improvise soloing over. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, the guitarist and After the End does improvise, but it works really well because it means that I can improvise backing him up. So the two of us work really well together because he'll go off on a slight slant on the solo. He'll play the most memorized. That bit's totally from the record. The bits you recognise, but the bits between it, there's a wee bit of leeway, and it depends. And I will modify what I'm playing to go with him, so he can kind of do what he wants because I'll fucking back him up. I'm good enough to be able to do that, which I think is one of the reasons we kind of work. Not been big-headed about it, but I actually saw a thing about someone's talking about David Bowie in a guitar. Well, someone, it was in a guitar magazine or a magazine I was reading in the bog, and it was like Mick Ronson was the only person ever to share the stage with Bowie, whereas everyone else was really great musicians, but they actually shared the stage. And it's like we're kind of sharing the stage, so it's not like the Aussie. We're all sharing it. It's part of it. So Craig, the guitarist, can go on in a bit of a spiel in a certain direction. I'll fucking follow and I'll pull Alan, the drummer, along with me. And it's like, it's a real 4 people working as one thing. There are more members in the band because the 4 of us pure work together rather than being any sort of disparate. Oh, I'm just playing the drums at the back. No, you're not. Or I'm just playing the bass. Bass is meant to be boring. I'll just keep. No. None of that. Not there. Plug the gig again. If you're anywhere near Glasgow, or if you can get here for the 23rd of September at Ivory Blacks, I think it'll be mind blowing. If you're a Sabbath fan, even if you're not, we're not like normal, not like a normal band. I've been to see plenty of cover bands. We're not really a cover band to that extent. I've kind of made sure of that. If it were, I wouldn't be playing there. If it was like a pub band playing Black Sabbath songs, I wouldn't have lasted a couple of weeks in the band. As soon as we played, it was like, you're right. If we didn't, it's bizarre. I don't know if it's like the best improviser. The best improviser over for me is like John Fogerty, where it's really simple. Sabbath it down. Anyone know Sleep? Jerusalem, California based band, late 90s. Jerusalem is surprising if you know Sabbath. Jerusalem as in the song. Da 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 da, which I obviously don't like because it's like, on England's grassy fields. Fuck your England's grassy fields. Yeah. But no, I don't know. Can you lend me the airfare from Glasgow? No. I'm afraid I can. Well, lend you? No. I don't know how much it would cost. I will try. I'll see if I can get. I don't know. If I knew somebody who had the ability to stream it, I wonder if there's anyone. I don't know. See, everyone I know is kind of like me and a bit mental. So I don't know if anyone's actually got the ability to stream it. Because if I knew someone that could actually stream it live on YouTube, I would just, somebody I trusted, I would sign them into my YouTube and then they could actually stream it. Wouldn't that be awesome? If you want to hear the music like it was on the album, stay at home and put the album. That's what I tell people. I get you totally. That's not what we do. We don't sound like the album. We do the way Sabbath would sound live. So all over the place, playing the important bits, improvising. So we sound like alive. I've heard plenty of bootlegs. I know this. I mean, Sabbath have been my favourite band for 20 years. So I know this. Don't play the album versions. Recognisable. And it's not this whole thing. Oh, I remember seeing it was a Led Zeppelin band, and they were doing the exact Nebworth 72 concert or Nebworth 79 concert, and you're like, no, we don't do that. No. We do the songs we want. As if and medleys, and we've changed shit about, but very much in the, not the style, the feel of the band. I mean, I'm fucking loud as fuck on the bass, pure, stupidly loud as fuck, because that's what Geezer Butler did. Oh. When your band's ready to get themselves a real guitarist, come to the gig and then say that. Craig's a fucking awesome guitarist. Unfortunately, Craig's the one person in the band that isn't an absolute Sabbath nutter. The rest of us are fucking nuts for the Sabbath. He's like, oh, yeah, I quite like that. No, but he's a really good guitarist. He's more into Robin Trower, and it's all 70s, so totally suitable. But me, the singer and the drummer, any song off the first 8 albums, we've got a fair fucking chance of being able to play it without actually knowing I've ever played it before. Stevie Zero might be as good as he says. I'll give him the bet. Well, there you go. But I mean, if you're saying I'm as good as, is that the same as somebody else saying he's as good as? In Glasgow, last train I can get is at 9:30. My car isn't welcome thanks to Les Pish. It's shit, isn't it? You can park. I was thinking about this. I didn't go and see my pals Led Zeppelin band, but we're at Ivory Black. So see if you park on the outside, you know where the Kingston Bridge is? There, anywhere on the right, which would be the east, that's not in the Les zone. So you can actually come off at the Kingston Bridge and go right and park anywhere towards the SACC. And then you've got, I don't know, a couple 100 yards to walk to get to Central Station, which is where we're playing. So it's possible. I didn't do it. There's also a really good kebab shop called Kebab in below the Central Station Bridge, so you can walk back. It's doable, but it's shit, and you'd have to be sober. We are on first, but we won't be finished by 9:30. I wouldn't have thought. I mean, I found I discovered this. We went for a band drinkathon, and I missed my last bus, which was at 11 o'clock. I was like, it's cool. I'll get the night bus. And then I got to the night bus and I looked it up, and it's like, due to the Conservative government, there have been no night buses since 2018 because we don't have the staff. Like, oh, so there's no buses, because there used to be like a 12:30, a 1:30, a 2 o'clock, a 3 o'clock, and the last one was 4:20. No, none. Okay. I honestly, I'd almost had to walk home. It was fucking terrible. I managed to get some bizarre taxi company, but the taxis weren't happy either, because the world is fucked. We are being absolutely screwed. See all you folk that thought Brexit was a good idea and you voted with the Conservatives. It's like, why are we not independent? Just because people are stupid. If we were independent, it would be all right. Sorry, I'm drunk. Right, so I've finished my book. Have I got to midnight yet? Am I allowed to give up? It's fucking midnight. Rocking. Thanks so much for joining in on these things, even though it's just me rambling and talking pish. Okay. Yeah, Pontiac, I can't imagine. Honestly, I can't imagine. That's awful. I mean, regardless how bad. Well, the only reason we don't have guns is because the government haven't worked out how to make it legal yet. But yeah, who says you're the best? No, I'll go for the point of see on going back to if you don't follow Jennifer Armstrong on Facebook, it's worth having a look. Some American Luther guy was saying, "Oh, it was pure great to show what she was doing," and like the first or the second comment was some guy going, "Oh, don't give her all the credit. There's other people. We're out there doing the same thing. here's my guitars, and printed up pictures of his, which was a copy of the Strat Hendrix played at Monterey, and then a copy of Hendrix's Flying V, and then like this is filling up the page, and then a picture of Les Paul he'd painted like the American flag, and then a Telecaster he'd painted like the Union Jack, going, "I'm just as good. It's great. Oh, look at this!" And it's like, that's not the same as somebody else saying, "Look at this guy, he's great." Because I just looked at it and went, right, so you've got a copy of Hendrix's Flying V, a copy of Hendrix's Strat, and then one that looks like a Union Jack and one that looks like a American flag. Jen's done, I don't know, this is, that one's 42, 50 guitars. I've just got a small smattering. What's this a copy of? What's that a copy of? What's that? What are these a copy of? Not the same thing. It's different. Plus, also, you don't see Jen going, "I am the greatest. Oh, I'm brilliant. Look at this. This is the best thing anyone's ever done." No, that's somebody else saying that. And it started off with, "You can why don't you share this on your page? Because it's what I honestly think is what the start of it comes with." So have a look. 3M people scuttling for drugs. Drugs and guns don't mix. I'm sorry, Pontiac. I know it's awful. I mean, I do. I mean, really, I'm so thankful that we don't have guns here. Again, you've got exactly the same problem we have. You've got a government or the people at the top who make a lot of money from owning people to tell you and brainwash people to say this rather than the actual truth. Whereas ban guns, oh, suddenly the people who are dying from guns is going to fucking plummet like fuck. I mean, St. Vitus, oh. Oh, you think you know what's going on inside your head? Think you want your money, but you knew you want instead. No, we haven't done that one. Fucking on it though. We will play it eventually, but if we get big enough, I'll nail these things in because I can play them all. And a full on riot outside my house on Friday night. 30 Neds having a square go. Buckyballs been launched left and right. It's disgusting, isn't it? Why is the world full of bastards? Oh. I don't know. The world is fucked, isn't it? It's just depressing. It's like you just got to kind of try and shy away from it and try and not worry about it. Where you say you're in Kilmarnock, I was at one of the guys I fixed guitar for. So I'm going to move it to this house. And it kind of seems all right. So you want to hear it at night though. And I remember that from my pals lived in Kirky. And I was obviously only ever there during the day and stuff. I was like, it's quite nice and quite quiet now, quite nice here. And he was like, up here at night. And it's just like, at night, there's just running folks screaming and getting beaten up. It's just like, where does. So ending on a depressing note, the world is fucked. See if everyone was cool. See if everyone was us. See if us were made acceptable, us lot, rather than it's all fucking done by the 1% who own everything. It's like the fact that people fight and all that is not because people naturally fight. It's because they're fucking oppressed by. What was it I saw? 5% of the world know what's going on, right? 1% are the elite who, and 4% work for them. So what? The 1% own everything. They employ the 4% to stop the 5%, us who know what's going on, waking up the 90%. That's that. And it's like I just sometimes it's very simple, but it's like that's pretty much it. So you got your 1% who own everything, getting the 4% who work for them, who want to be as good as the 1%, and their job is to stop the 5% who know what's going on, stop telling the 90% of zombies. Because if they told the 90% of zombies, the fucking 1% would get wiped out immediately. Good. Okay, change the subject. It's Christmas and summer. How's that? Sounds great. Christmas by the pool. Rock on. I love you all. And honestly, it does mean a lot to me, the fact that you lot are here. And I've managed to attract cool people. I don't get very many arseholes. Or, obviously, everyone's an arsehole, but I mean, nice people, people who give a shit about other people, people who care, people who are free thinkers. Thanks a lot. I really do appreciate you.